What's up, YouTube? I'm Robert, and this is the Biker Channel. No, it's not. It's the Biker Bar, the BK Bar Podcast live stream. And tonight we have Joe from the Calirado Kid, and it's going to be an interesting show because I don't really know a whole lot about him personally, so I'm sure we're going to dig into that. But before we do that, let's get started with the fun stuff. Check this out. I just finally pulled my head out of my ass and finished upgrading my website, which I've been trying to do for like God knows how long. And because of that, now I can add stuff to my store. So if you guys want to buy a new shirt or a hat or some other swag that I have, like the biker bar or the biker koozies or something like that, you can swing by shop.biker.com and check that out. I put up like 3 or 4 new shirt designs last night and a couple of hats. And then I'm probably going to put the bottle openers and these nifty tumblers. If you guys haven't seen these yet, freaking instead of going to the store and buying yourself an Arctic one, you can go buy this biker one that is 98% the same, but not. And but it does the same thing. And then you're actually supporting this channel instead of Arctic tumblers. And you can keep your beer cold, or you can keep your water cold, or you can keep your coffee hot. Whatever you want to do with it, you can do that. But they also work well just to paste stickers all over it, because I have another one that I've had for a couple of years, and it's been through the dishwasher about 1 billion times, and those stickers don't fall off. So if they fall off of my cup, you can't return it. But anyways, if you want to help out the channel, there's been a bunch of you guys lately jumping on the Patreon. I really appreciate it, man. It's $1 a month. It's really not much to ask. But if you really want to support the channel, put beer in the fridge, because at the end of January, when I start drinking again, I'm going to need that thing stocked. And if you want to help, you want to like be part of the team, join the happy hour crew. It's $5 a month. You'll get a sticker pack too. And coming soon, there's going to be like an Uber, I think I'm going to call it the bartender pack. And then that's whenever you get to jump over the bar and be like really part of the biker bar. And that's going to have a really cool swag pack. I'm just waiting on another thing or two to come from China that I'm developing. And once I have all that swag pack together, then that'll be a $25 tier. But I really want to make it worth it for you guys. So nonetheless, otherwise, you just want some extra content for free, swing by Instagram or Facebook and do that stuff. But honestly, please go check out my shop over at shop.biker.com, or just go to biker.com. You can click on the shop like there, and you can see the stuff, because I'm kind of stoked about it. And it would be fun to see somebody buy it. So it's not like I'm making a killing on that stuff. Like, I'll be honest, like transparent with you guys. It's like between $3 and $5 for a shirt. So it's not like I'm like, you're like, man, $27? What the hell? You know, I definitely, like, if I was looking at like some other YouTubers and that's what I saw the price before I made the stuff myself, I would totally be like, that's garbage, man. He's $15 shirt and he's like marking it up 50%. No, it's not, dude. Seriously, it's like $3 to $5, tops $5. So that would be awesome though. And you get a shirt too, or a hat or whatever. So let's just get on with this already. We'll bring on the man, Joe himself. What's up, Joe? How's it going?
What's going on, man?
Not much, dude. Oh man, I'm hitting all the wrong buttons. I don't even know what I'm doing anymore. Well, anyway,
get it together, Robert.
Yeah, I know, right? Just you got on the screen. I got nervous. I panicked.
Yeah, it's because I've got the self-proclaimed greatest mustache in mountain biking history. Mountain bike YouTube. Oh, okay, wait. Skills from Phil might take that, but I take a close second place. All right,
a close second. Yeah. Dude, that mustache came by a kind of hard way though, didn't it?
It sure did. It was a hard-earned mustache.
It was definitely. For those of you guys that don't know Joe and the Calirado Kid channel, to make a long story short, he made a off-camera comment while on the trail, but unfortunately on video one day, that when he hit 1,000 subscribers, that he'd shave a dick in his beard. And how'd that play out for you?
I'll be damned if I didn't follow through. Don't let anyone ever tell you that I'm not a man of my word. All right. Here's what happened. As soon as Crashing Dad made the song about it, you know I had to commit. It was just it was a no-brainer.
Yeah, it was easy to blow it off whenever, because I think we did that. You were on a live stream with me.
Yes.
And you were like 100 or 200 or something, like 100 away. And you were like, oh yeah, if I hit 1,000, I got to shave a dick in my beard. And like instantly drunk Rob was like, oh yeah, dude, we're getting everybody on this live stream to subscribe to your channel now, because that has to happen.
Yes.
Yeah, so it did. Tell me how that play. How do you approach a respectable business and ask them to shave a penis in the side of your face?
So a little behind the scenes behind that ended up, I was out in Arizona for a work trip, and essentially what happened was, I started reaching out to barbershops in town, and I was like, hey, this is going to sound weird. Like in the first one or two you call, it's awkward, right? And the third one, you're just like full commit.
Yeah,
and
you're
the guy's
in,
like,
man.
the best part about it is you could hear the guy in the background. He basically got off mic, you could hear him in the background off his phone, like, hey, this guy back here, he wants to shave a dick in his beard. And then, so you can hear him telling his buddy, and the guy, you could just hear him like, oh my God. He comes back on the line. He's like, yeah, we'll do that. We'll do it. Okay. So I show up the next day, and it's just like, we film it, and I was able to get that done. And yeah, it was definitely an awkward and eye-opening experience for me all around.
Yeah, I can imagine. I know, like, whenever you first start doing YouTube, like, just getting out of your car and talking to your camera, and like you're at the trailhead, there's like people walking around, you're like, oh, wait till they get it back in their car, or you know what I mean? And then after you do it for a while, you just you're like, whatever, I don't even care, I'll talk to everybody. And I would imagine that's kind of how it went down with the beard.
Yeah, it's amazing like how quick that changes. It's like, forget it. Let's just go for it. You know what I mean? Like, What do I have to lose? I'm surrounded by people who will never see me again anyways. I'm out in Arizona. It's like, how often do I go out there? Which I will to go ride, but obviously I was like, what the hell, man? What the hell? Let's go for it.
Yeah, and then just put it out there to the whole world, and they can all remember you as the guy with the dick in his beard.
And the guy who owns the shop was super cool about it. He ended up promoting it on his Instagram and stuff.
Oh, that is so funny.
It was comedy gold. It was just like, it was a full commit is what it was. It was a full send. That's exactly what I did with that joke.
That's good stuff. What are you drinking there, dude?
The best part is, by the way, the side note behind this is Outsider and MTB Allen invite me onto a live stream the same night that I had done this. And so I'm on the live stream, and I literally will not show my face. So I'm looking at the camera halfway sideways the whole time because I couldn't reveal it. The video wasn't produced yet. So I didn't want to reveal the secret of what I had actually done. And it turned out well.
So you still like had some stuff that you needed to film with it, so you couldn't like.
Yeah, because we filmed like I reached out to Crashing Dad, and we essentially filmed like a Dark Knight style reveal. You know how Two-Face was revealed in the Dark Knight? That's basically what I did. And I'm in the hotel room filming this, and so I don't reveal it until I come off the pillow and you finally see it in slow motion and all this stuff. It's absurd. It was absurd. It was a very well thought out dick joke, is what it was.
I'll tell you that you have a lot of very well thought out videos, dude. Like, honestly, like I was just talking to somebody else about it today, and I was like, just the ideas that you come up with, and like how like planned they are, like it's way beyond me. Like I'm riding bikes and maybe gonna talk about this bag, like
yeah.
You're definitely I mean, what do you use for your inspiration? You just like sit around and you're like, oh, this is funny, I'm gonna do it.
You know what's surprising? Like sometimes like going on a solo ride, like a solo night ride I did the other day, had ideas just popping in left and right. And so like I try to jot as much down as I can. Whether or not they're executable is a different story. But like I think creativity has always been my strong suit and improvisation. So it's like being able to just come up with an idea and like think of a way to make it interesting and funny. Like there's better storytellers out there. Like I was watching Backyard Trail Builder's recent video where he built something with no tools, and the storytelling is incredible in that. But I'm not that good. I'm like, I think of like just funny stuff and how can I execute, like, and it was amazing. Some of the stuff we did on this latest one where everybody got together and just collaborated and like came and made it better, like that's fun too.
Oh yeah. So those of you guys that are watching, behind him, he has a image up on the screen there. It says Trailhead Troopers, which is a little sneak peek of what's going to drop tomorrow. And I would say, altogether on that video, I helped in the I just kind of stood around, actually. That's all I really did. And but that's helping, I think. But there was probably like 20 guys that were helping out with this whole filming and like different characters and whatnot. How many people would you say?
God, somewhere around that range. And the fact that I could ask people to pool together and do that was like incredible to me. Like I never would have imagined that, like starting this channel literally about a year ago to this day, and getting everybody together like that was really cool. And then, you were like, I was like, hey, I got an idea for like a bit roll in this stupid thing I'm going to shoot. And you're like, dude, I'm down. let me know what you need help with, and I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
You help with camera, you help do some scenes, you popped in with some good creative ideas that I wasn't even thinking about. So it's like that made everything better. And it's like having everybody out there. When I tried to explain what the video was to everybody, and I don't think everybody quite got it. Maybe I didn't have a very good idea of like how to explain it. And I'm not
I
sure
got
that
it. I got
yet.
it from the get-go. And maybe it's just because, like, I mean, I guess we're not giving him too much away by saying it's kind of like a Reno 911 type of show, so to speak, but based around mountain biking instead. And I feel like as soon as you said Reno 911, I'm like, okay, I get it. You know, like, all right. That's you did an amazing job on the edit. Like, everybody that's listening to this or watching this, if at this point in time that you haven't seen it and it's past tomorrow, you should go over to his channel and definitely check it out. I was really impressed, dude, with how well the edit came out. And that's, you know, being able to watch it from the perspective of it's not mine. You know what I mean? Like, when you watch your own edits, it's really easy to be like, oh, this is awesome. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You don't realize what parts suck until you watch it like 6 months from now. You know what I mean? And then you're like, oh, that was messed up. I should have cut there. But in the moment, you're excited about it. So for me to watch it from my perspective of it's not my edit and be like, dude, that was really good. Like, I think it's an awesome cut. The problem is, probably, you know, this as well, is like, everything that you love yourself, like, doesn't seem like those are the ones that hit big, right?
I know. I'm fully committed to the fact that this video will not do well at all. Like, I accepted that a long time ago, but I'll be damned if I didn't edit the hardest I've ever edited in my life, push myself harder to produce this, because, man, it was just so much fun, and everybody was out there, and like, we had a blast filming it, and I was just having a blast editing it. And so it's a passion project. And like, I think you said, like, there's no way we don't do more of these. Like, it was just too good. And we've already planned out, I think, 3 more episodes at this point.
Yeah. I was like, even in my head, I was like, this just needs to be its own channel.
Yeah.
But then I was like,
totally
no.
Unusual. Yeah. It's very unusual.
But I was like, you know, every time that people do another channel, I'm like, why did they do that? They could have just done it on there. So
yeah,
here it is. This is going to be the show that takes you straight to like NBC, dude.
Nobody's gonna watch this.
Nobody's gonna watch it.
It'll get me like 2 extra subs, and I might lose one in the process.
Probably lose a few.
Yeah. But I'll be damned if it wasn't a hell of a lot of fun, man. So whatever, it is what it is, and I'm proud of it. I've never done anything like that, and like, to try to organize all that's just a first for me, and help me push my creative boundaries. So it's a learning experience at the very least, and I hope people dig it. I hope it's not just one big inside joke, like, but it might be, you know, ultimately, like, whatever. But we had a hell of a time, so I'm juiced about it.
When I did the Moonlight Leatherfoot video, that was my first time of actually doing a video that I had, like, I mean, obviously Moonlight himself knew how the story went because he was there, but it was like some of the other people that were helping out, like, and even him, he didn't know the shots that I wanted. You know what I mean? So like, in my mind, I'm like, this is how I need this to come out. Like, and it was interesting seeing you from that perspective, where like, I knew how it felt when I was there. And it's like, no, I want you standing here. I want you standing here. I want you to say this, you know, I want this camera to hold this camera right here. Don't move, you know, like, and it's, you know, it's always interesting when you're talking to other people that haven't, like, a lot of the guys out there, they're not, you know, YouTubers. So like, even Zach, who Moonlight Leatherfoot, who like rides with me all the time, like, I'll be like, hey, I want you to take this shot for me. And then I'll ride by and I'll be like, dude, why'd you move? You know, and it'd be like, oh, well, I thought you wanted me to follow. No, I want you to hold this camera and don't do anything except for hold it. You're a tripod. Yeah. Like, tripods don't think on their own, you know, like, but then, you know, the next time I'll be like, why didn't you follow me, dude? I wanted you to follow me. So it was really cool seeing that all come together. It really was.
Yeah, I couldn't have done that without everybody. I like, okay, there's a guy, John, who's in here right now, Active Life 2.0. We rode together in Colorado on the BKXC Chasing Epic trip, which was awesome. And like, turns out he lives in Lincoln, I think, stinking Lincoln. Yeah. And he was like, we rode the other day, and he's like, if you ever need help on camera or something, he's a photographer and videographer. So he's like, if you ever need help, let me know. And so I, like, literally the next week, I'm like, hey, John, you want to help me on something? Totally took advantage of him. But he came out, and I never realized how nice it was to have somebody that you could just trust to just get the shots for you. Yeah. Because, you know, most of the time we're solo game, and like having people being able to help and being like, send them down the trail and just get the shots I need. And like, for the most part, you can trust them, except for some of these knuckleheads who recorded vertical video in the chase sequence, which is, you bastards. I'm calling you guys all out.
That's funny. I recorded some stuff for you, and then I like copied it all over to OneDrive, and then I forgot to send it to you. And then by the time I remembered, you were like, "Oh, here's my rough cut," and I was like, "Yeah, he doesn't need it anymore."
Yeah,
I'll send it to you. Maybe you use it for something else.
There's entire possibility they'll do just like a full outtake video, I think, of this, because there's a lot of stuff for sure that was cut on the cutting room floor there.
Yeah, there definitely probably will be. So let's talk a little bit about you, man. How'd you get into mountain biking?
So it's interesting. I used to casually ride. I had this hardtail that I never really took care of, and I would go ride occasionally. Nothing epic, nothing. I never really mountain biked. Like, it was kind of, I would find a trail here and there. I have a picture of me somewhere in Yosemite just riding down a road and whatever else. Like, I liked being outdoors, but I never like took mountain biking to the level that I never knew that it existed in that level, right? Until BKC.
So like you like just had like a Walmart kind of bike, or
it was like a specialized. It was decent. It was like a $700 bike, or it had a front fork, so it was like it was decent.
So you just bought it because you were like, yeah, I like riding. Like, I want to be out in nature, and this sounds like a good idea. But you didn't really have any friends that were like taking you along for the ride.
No, not at all. No connection to anybody. And so it's like, at that point, this is years and years ago. And I took it to Colorado with me when I moved out there, and I just never really, I don't think I ever rode it there, like maybe downtown or something, but I just never
went to the bar.
What kind of dumb moves to Colorado and doesn't ride the trails?
Yeah, believe me. I understand.
I completely regret.
Dude, it's funny because like now when I travel anywhere, I'm like, oh, what trails are there? I'm gonna rent a bike. Am I gonna bring my bike? And I kick myself in the butt for all these other places that I've been. And I'm like, oh, I never rode while I was there. That was dumb.
Yeah.
That was a good opportunity. Why didn't I take advantage?
Isn't it funny how, now we plan all our trips around which trails are around. I'm literally like, hey, let's take a family trip to Moab. You guys will love it. And it's like, it's totally selfish. 100%.
Right. Yeah, no, totally. Yeah. That's funny. So you had this bike and you're just kind of like doing whatever with it. And
yeah, it got dilapidated, if that's the word. I took it to LA and I left it outside and it rusted, and I ended up just like kind of like giving it to somebody. I was like, take this bike. And then it wasn't until I found out that what Brian was doing, right? Like, because we grew up together. So like once I found out he had a channel, like at 100 subs, or I was like, dude, that's cool. I started watching, and it must have been a year that passed before I was like, this is really cool. This is really cool. And finally, like, something clicked where I was like, why don't I get a bike? Like, why don't I get a real bike and try this? So you're really new to riding then? Yeah, I mean, within the last 2-3 years or something, I would say.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I mean, to like real riding. Like, you fall in love with it. How can you not? Like, you take somebody out, like, if they don't, like, I don't know why they wouldn't. Like, it's hard not to just be fully committed.
Right.
And I told the guys at work when I was going to buy my first bike, I'm like, this could be bad, because when I get into something, I get fully absorbed, right?
Yeah, I know the feeling.
Yeah,
I'm that same kind of guy, dude. It's like, oh fuck. That's why I don't want to try any more like hobbies. When people are like, hey, you want to go fishing with me? I'm like, no, I don't have time or money for that.
Yeah.
It's like,
here's the trick, Robert. You just find somebody who is good at fishing and likes to go, and let them do all the work for you, and you just show up. That's what I find is the best. I have a guy, Tom, and he's on the morning show for KNCI. He loves fishing, and so he'll just invite me out. He gets all the lines squared away. He's driving the boat. He does everything. I just show up and catch fish
and like cast, and that's it, right?
Yeah, exactly, 100%.
I'm trying to save that. Actually, like, this is one of my jokes between fishing and golf. Like, I'm saving it for when I can't ride bikes anymore.
It's a solid point.
Yeah, where it's like when I get old, I'm like, oh man, I can't beat myself up like that anymore. So I guess this is what I'm gonna do now. Until
you realize that you can put a fishing pole in your backpack while you ride and find some of the best fishing spots.
That's probably a great idea, huh?
I've done that in Downeyville, actually. During the downhill of Downeyville at the bridge, you can fish right there, and I catch trout out of that water right there.
Oh, right on. Then you just throw them back, or you just chuck them in your camelback and freaking take them down for lunch later. You just eat it raw like a fucking real man.
Just take a fucking bite out of my Gollum.
I forgot to mention at the beginning, apparently I'm just like being a sailor today, so I'm just dropping all the F-bombs and everything. But hey, it's the biker bar. You can get away with whatever you want.
100%.
Right? And if you don't like it, you can always skip to the next one.
Yeah, which they probably will. Once they find out, they're like, who the hell is that Calirado Kid guy, and why is he on here? Yeah, skip.
So
I will say I'm going to rank probably within your top top 75 episodes. I'll probably rank somewhere in there.
Yeah, probably.
This is the
Somewhere
75th episode.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, you got it. You nailed that joke, dude. I just kind of just went. I was trying to just plow right over top of it there.
100%.
I don't know why. So, what's the deal with Colorado? What's the deal with that?
All right, so here's the story behind the actual name, Calirado, all that stuff. What it was is, I've always lived here in California. I grew up in Fairfield, and I came up to Sacramento for college. Ended up meeting the wife here. We got a house, did all that stuff. Well, I got a job opportunity in Colorado, so we moved up to Colorado for about 2 years, and it was pretty cool. We worked with the Spanish broadcast for the Denver Broncos, so I actually got to go to 2 Super Bowls with them, which was awesome.
That's
all kinds of adventures out there.
Yeah, I saw pictures of you like on the field and everything.
Yeah. I totally got on the field. I don't think I was qualified to, but I just ran out there with my camera, and I looked official. So I have a buddy, like selfies with my DSLR out on the field.
Let me tell you this story real quick, since we're talking about this. I have a friend. There's actually a guy I hired. He was just like looking for some IT work. I hired him at my last place, and he had like the most popular Raiders website, like forum. So it was like a fan forum. And somewhere along the line, like basically he got the idea that, he wanted to go to football games for free, right?
Yeah.
So him and his buddies were like trying to come up with ideas how they could go to football games for free. And it started out, they were going to go do security for like the football arena or something like that. Obviously that didn't work out. So somewhere along the line, he started this website because he's an IT guy, and it just like, it got popular because he was like probably one of the first guys to start one, and, it just, whatever, it caught on. So somewhere he's like, let's just say he has like 20,000 people on his forum at that point. And one of the guys that's like one of his regulars is like, dude, you could use this website as like your media to go get on the field. And he's like, what? Like, I didn't even know that I could do that, So this guy like helps him like, connect whatever dots he has to do to be able to like be media person. So he's like, gets finally, the access to go to the game, and like his first game, he's like down there standing on the field, like next to these guys. And those cameras, dude, they're rocking like $30,000 lenses and like,
100%.
like big rigs. He said that he went to Best Buy before he went to the game and bought the most expensive point and shoot that he could get for like $300. So he's standing up, and of course he's like just getting a house because like him and all his buddies are like, dude, I'm going to the game for free. I'm going to be on the field. So he's like totally drunk down on the field taking pictures with this $300 camera. But so on and so forth, the story goes on, and he ends up, getting better and getting better. Now he's one of those guys that looks all pro on the field. But I don't know. I thought it was a pretty funny story.
That's so good. That's so good. He could have gone full exec, just wear a suit and just look like you don't have to do anything. They don't do anything. They just stand around. He could have done that. Like, he would have fit right in.
Right.
There's tons of guys out there on the field like that.
You're like, what's this dude do? I don't know. He just freaking checks like the PSI of the football.
I don't know, man. He's wearing a suit. He looks official.
Yeah, don't ask him any questions. He looks like we'll get in trouble.
It's either that or a yellow jacket. A suit or a yellow jacket will get you anywhere in life. I'm convinced of it.
There you go. And why does the NFL? Now I'm going to get on a tangent. We're on a mountain bike podcast, anyways. So you're out there. You're like doing football games in Colorado, and then what happens?
So basically, just all kinds of adventuring, snowmobiling. I actually learned snowboarding out there, so I did do something useful, even though I didn't mountain bike like a dum-dum. But and then so essentially, like our first child, Franco, was born in Colorado. So we called him. He was right on the cusp of the move between California and Colorado. So we called him the Calirado Kid for a while. And so that's kind of where the name came from. And when I was thinking of a name for the channel, I was like, that's it. I mean, I went through a lot of iterations, like Mr. Awesome and the best around, all these other, there's a lot of just stupid names. But yeah, anyways, I landed on the Calirado Kid. So Colorado is great. I love it, man. I would move back there in a heartbeat, but all of our family's out here. And I like Northern California is pretty incredible too. I don't really have a lot to complain about out here.
Yeah, geography wise, I would never want to leave.
Yeah,
but there's other things in California where I'm like, I don't know about that. But that's a different podcast.
Yeah.
But no, it's awesome up here. The weather is great. I mean, I was just thinking about it right before we came in here. I'm like getting out of my car. I'm like shorts on, a t-shirt. I'm like, this is January. Like, I'm from Pennsylvania, man. They're like, it's freezing back there. It might be snow on the ground. Like, like it's definitely not this kind of life.
It was 70 yesterday and today, I think, which is absolutely nuts. And I'd never seen Auburn so damn busy with people who don't know what the hell they're doing.
Right. Yeah, they definitely stocked up on a lot of noobs out there lately. This whole
Yeah.
COVID thing just ruined our like best kept secret.
Mm-hmm.
What kind of beers you drinking over there, dude?
This is a Dead Guy Ale,
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
which is always
It's,
a good one.
yeah, it's kind of
Wrapped
like
in my
a
biker koozie.
oh,
Speaking
there
of
you
biker
go.
merch right there.
Yeah, see, get one shop.biker.com.
Mm-hmm.
You know what else? You also mentioned the Active Life 2.0. He's on Patreon.
Oh, excellent.
A good supporter. He told me the other day that he had a $10 budget for his Patreon, but his bill's $17 a month.
It's like all of us. You want to know what my budget was for a YouTube channel? And you want to know what it really is?
Right.
Dear God, I just bought an A7S3 or whatever that damn camera is.
How much did that thing cost?
I don't want to talk about it.
You don't want to talk about? Yeah, not in front of the wife.
Not in front of the wife. No, I sold a bunch of stuff to really pay for it. I had a PS5 that I got at launch that I hadn't touched for over a month. I was just sitting here. I was like, let me get it to my buddy. I'm not going to overcharge. He's just going to pay what I bought, and little things like that. I could generate the cost for it. But I was just like, let's just get rid of some fluff.
Yeah, no, totally.
Yeah.
I didn't buy a legit camera until I think it was just last year. I bought the Sony A6600.
Yeah.
And that's my first like real camera that, has more than one button. Yeah. And dude, you get this thing. I mean, that thing I think cost me like $1,800 with like some extra goodies that came with it. But
sure.
Anyways, I mean, you spend all this money and it kind of reminded me of like when you got a computer for the first time, when you were like, I don't know, back in the day. It's probably not the same for kids now, but like back in the day, it's like you spend $2,000 on this computer and you're like, okay, now I don't know what to do with it.
Yeah. You play StarCraft.
Yeah. Like you're like, I was gonna like, I don't know, hack the freaking Pentagon or something, but I don't know how to do that.
I was gonna 333 megahertz.
Right. Like it's the same way I felt with that camera. I was like so excited to get it. And then I was like, I don't know how to take a picture. Yeah. Like I have no clue. So I've been trying really trying to learn.
About like hobbies. All of a sudden you're in the hobby. Once you get a camera, you're like, oh crap, I got to learn how to use this thing. And so it's like, then you're on researching what's the best settings, what's the best video settings. Now you're going down another big rabbit hole that it's just another thing. It's like, but like I actually used to be really into videography and like in camera and photography and all that stuff. But then I kind of fell out of it. Like the job that I have is a great job. I love what I do. I'm a broadcast engineer. And so most of that's a very technically oriented, right? It's not necessarily a creative endeavor. It's more like problem solving and things like that. So it almost trains your brain against the just explosive creativity that I'm known for now. Right, guys? Right, guys in the chat? Yeah. And so basically, like, I don't know where I was going with that, but I used to be into videography, and so now I'm relearning that again. So I'm getting caught back up with how to film, frame rates and all this stuff. And luckily, there's a ton of great people. Even like Spokesman MTB, he knows a lot about it. John Active Life knows a lot about it. So I just ask people questions, and it's great to have that resource around because it's pretty overwhelming. It really is.
It definitely is. It's definitely overwhelming, and it's like I said. I mean, you spend all this money on it, and then you're like, you don't know what to do, and then you're nervous too. Like, did I buy the wrong thing? I don't even know. You know what I mean? But I think the thing is, like, it's kind of like it's like doing YouTube. You just need to jump in. And once you start getting it, you start using it, you start figuring it out. I've been just trying to take pictures of, I don't even know, like somebody asked me once, they're like, well, what do you like to take pictures of? And I'm like, I don't know, stuff, but like some people are like, oh, I like taking pictures of food, or I like taking pictures of bikes, or I like taking pictures, you know what I mean? Like, at this point, I'm just trying to take pictures of everything because I don't know how to take pictures of anything,
Yeah.
But it's really fun.
I remember I went to, when I was still in high school, my dad was like, hey, there's a community college over here. Do you want to take a black and white photography class? And I was like, yeah, let's do it. And so it was actually, I don't even know if digital existed at that point, but we had to go and develop film in the dark room. What do you call it?
Yeah. Dark room. Yeah.
And so like trying to manage the reel, and you got to click it over and put it in the fluid and all that stuff. I actually went through all that process. So like, I could say I'm an expert at my craft, like because I had to do that.
Yeah, they had like a photography something in my high school that I graduated from. All those guys were like kind of weird, and they'd like come out of the dark room. We were like, yeah, don't go over there.
Yeah.
So I was just like, oh, I was all judgy on them. Meanwhile, I'm like hiding around the back wall of the school, smoking a bunch of pot. So I was like, "You guys will never understand."
Yeah. It's art. Shut up, bro.
Right. But yeah, I don't even know where I'm going from there. But I'm pumped.
Yeah.
So how did you get from Colorado then back out to Cali?
So the company I was working for, I found out that they had a position open up at the corporate offices in LA. And I thought, or everybody wants to work their way to the top, right? That's kind of the goal. Is like, I want to make it to like the top level. So like corporate office, like running the network audio and all that stuff, like that sounds awesome. And I actually had a great time. I met a lot of great friends out there. Somebody that I knew from LA was in the chat earlier. And it was a good position. I built some new showcase studios for them. We did a bunch of stuff. And so I was out there for a couple years. And then it was really like we had our daughter there. And so that's why I say I'm never moving to another city, by the way, because every city I move to, we have another damn kid. Overwhelmed.
Right.
And so, yeah, essentially we're in LA for a couple years. There was good things that we liked about it. I didn't like the hustle and bustle. Like I didn't like dealing with the traffic. I would never move back there. Whereas like Colorado, I'd move back in an instant. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's not to say that I didn't like it. It was just like, we did a lot of great stuff with the kids, the zoo, the museums, all that stuff. And the beaches were cool, but it's just the sheer hassle of doing anything in that city.
Right.
So we lived out there for a couple of years. Then it was like, you know what? We have 2 kids. It's time to get back to Sacramento where we have the house. We've got her parents here. My parents are in Fairfield. And everybody's close by. And it really does make a huge difference having family around. And I wouldn't trade it for the world.
Yeah. It's easy too with the kids then, because it's like easy to get somebody that's willing to like have the kids over at their house while you can go dip out with the lady or whatever,
Or go mountain biking.
Yeah, that's I was trying to make it sound like I'm.
See ya.
Yeah, right. I'm out. We can have dinner when I get home.
Yeah, it better be ready. Jesus, she's probably listening.
Right. So then that was in LA. So then how'd you get back up to Sacramento then?
Yeah, and that's pretty much it. I mean, like basically, like we're like, all right, it's time. And the wife gave me some positive pressure in that regard. She was like, it's time. What do you think about now? And I kind of felt guilty about leaving my boss because we got along great and everything. And I just had to like, all right, it makes sense. Now's the time.
Right. So once you got back up here, that's whenever you decided to get back in. That's when you got into mountain biking then?
Yeah, right around that time, I just started cruising. I don't know. I still don't know anything about bikes, by the way, but I ended up cruising. I don't even remember where I bought the bike from. Craigslist, Facebook Marketplace, or Pink Bike. I don't know.
You just went straight for a dentist bike though too, huh?
No, my first bike was a Bronson.
Oh, there you go.
Right up your alley.
Right up my alley.
And I found a Bronson, that matte black. It was like a 2017, or I don't remember which year it was. But it was that matte black, super sexy. And I text Brian. I was like, where should I go ride for my first ride on a mountain bike? And he sent me up to the Armstrong to Lower Coral. And I always say Coral, but apparently it's Corral. All right.
Yeah,
but I'm going to keep pronouncing it Coral for whatever reason. So
I was up there yesterday.
Did you?
Yeah. I wasn't riding. I was just hiking with the dog. It's all snowing and stuff but yeah, that's funny.
We need some snow up there. But like he sent me up there. Okay, first of all, I haven't
mountain biked. That's the first mountain bike ride that he tells you to go on.
Yeah, for anybody that isn't familiar with this trail, what it is it's at least 1,000 feet of climbing at 7,000 feet elevation already. You're talking about somebody who has no physical fitness whatsoever. Well, I'm physically fit, but not like, what mountain bike, riding is different than like.
Yeah, riding shape is different than like hiking shape or running shape. Like it's definitely different.
Yeah,
and I'll say this. Even like this year, I'm in probably one of my best riding shape ever. And even whenever I was like 40 pounds lighter than this, I'm still probably in better riding shape than that. And the second half of that climb blows donkey balls. Like when you get to the top of Corral, it's like, okay, that wasn't bad. We're at elevation. I could do this all day. And then you turn the corner and it's like, hey, check this out. Bam.
Solid kick in the balls.
Yeah. Just lay it on this rock and then smash it with another rock.
I literally had to stop last time. I was about to throw up. I'm like, I also was extremely hungover, but I did it anyways. Not on the first ride, but on the most recent one.
But coming down,
you've got that hellacious climb, and then you've got exposure. Like, there's a lot of exposure on the first section of that trail. Like, it scared the hell out of me. I just like walked a lot of stuff there, once you get to that first vista, and you probably know what I'm talking about. You come down, there's like a big log that comes across, and then you stop right there, and you can see the whole valley, and it's like, boom, hooked. Like at this point, I'm fully committed to this sport. You know what I mean? And so then you get to those tabletops at the bottom of Corral, and it's like jump. I was like, oh, this is the funnest thing. It's like a roller coaster.
Yeah.
You're hooked.
Man, I am just like, now everybody knows that Brian's an asshole.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. I want you guys to know the real truth behind BKXC.
Right.
He's an asshole.
Right. Oh, that's hilarious.
But,
I'm surprised. I mean, obviously he knows you, so he must have just been taken into your like other activities that you do because why would you send somebody on that for their first ride? But apparently he did it, so he must not have been wrong. So you know what I mean?
It was good. Yeah, it was punishment, but I was hooked. Yeah. And like, if anybody else told me it was their first mountain biking trip, I'd be like, you should go to Granite Bay.
Right.
Perfect. But
right.
Yeah, anyways, I was hooked. It was amazing. So I rode that for quite a while. I took some road trips on that. I took it out to Utah. Went to Park City and some other stuff. I was just riding all over the place. I was like,
why'd you get rid of Bronson, dude?
Huh?
Why'd you get rid of Bronson?
So I think it was just maybe not the right size for me. Like I would get a lot of pedal strikes, and I rode an SB6 out in Colorado, that Keystone. I rented one to do some downhill, and it was like capable as hell. And the Bronson was great, by the way. I don't have anything bad to say about it.
I think the one that you had was the V1, and honestly, the V1 wasn't the greatest. So
yeah, there was times where I felt limited. It felt like my pedals were striking quite a bit. Maybe the climbing wasn't quite there. And then I heard all about 29ers. So once I'd rode the SB6, I was like, this is amazing. And then I researched a bit more, and it was time to get an actual my first new bike.
Right.
I found the 5.5, and to me. It does a lot, and it does it well, and I don't really have anything to complain about. I've ridden other bikes, like I rode in Colorado. I rode the Gorilla Gravity. It was incredible, but it didn't do anything that my bike doesn't do. It didn't wow me. It didn't. So yeah. And I'm coming this from a perspective where I still don't know a lot about bikes. I'm very much like Brian in that regard, where it's like, just give me a bike and I'll ride. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't know how to explain it. I know a lot about bikes as far as I guess you could say how they work and stuff like that, and can fix most of the stuff on my bike. Most of the things I don't fix on my bike is not because I don't know how to. It's more like I'm just too lazy to. I'd rather pay somebody.
Yeah.
But I am like a freaking rockhead when it comes to understanding why I like this bike. Yeah. And that I can relate with that. You know what I mean? Like for me, I just get on the bike. I'm like, yeah, I don't know. It just doesn't feel good, you know? Yeah. And then they're like, well, how's the suspension feel? I'm like, I don't know, dude. You know, I'll have to ride my bike for 3 months of the suspension being all screwed up before I finally am like, I think I need some help to get this dialed in, you know?
Yep.
Bikeson hooked me up.
Yeah, we rode with Bikeson the other day, and he was fixing everybody's suspension.
He dialed my shit in, dude. I was like, my bike was all screwed up. I was just going to burn it. And then was going to finally buy that fishing rod. And then he's like, yeah, let me help you out here. And he's like, click, click, click. And he's like, how many clips do you have it at? And I was like, dude, I have no clue. He's like, well, let's figure out where it's at right now so we can set it back. No, we don't need to do that, dude. Mm-hmm. There is absolutely nothing that you could do to this that's going to make me be like, oh, that's fucked up now.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah.
Plus, it'll take me 3 months to realize it.
Yeah, yeah, 100%. I'm the same boat. I don't even know if I could tell you if he snuck into my garage right now and made some changes. Right. I don't know if I could tell you if he did anything.
Right. Yeah. People are like, oh, you just got to adjust the rebound. Would you do the higher or the low? I'm like, I don't even know where. I know where the knobs are.
I know it has knobs.
Right. I used to click shit I knew what I was doing.
Yeah.
And I just at a certain point, I think with this last bike, I'm like, you know what? I'm done clicking shit, dude. I don't know. Cause all I would do is let's say I got on the fork, it'd be like, I'm gonna turn it all the way this way.
Yeah.
Or I'm gonna turn it all the way that way. And there should only be on off switches with that thing for me. I would understand it then.
Here's what I've discovered that the buttons are really useful for: excuses. Because when I go to a jump park, I can say, I think I just have the rebound set too high. It's not really, I'm just not getting the jumping ability I want. It's just excuses, that's all I use it for. It's that. Oh, I'm not climbing fast enough. I think I clicked it too many times. I don't know.
I let out too much air out of my shock. I don't have a shock pump with me. And then fortunately some guy on the ride's like, oh, I got mine. You're like, oh no, I don't want to hold everybody up.
Yeah, we're gonna keep riding. It's fine. It's fine. I'm carrying a bunch of snacks in the back anyways.
Yeah. Everything's okay. Everything's okay.
Yeah. The weight in my pack is slowing me down too. Let's just get it all out of there. All right. I'm the expert at excuses on a ride.
Right. Yeah, no, I always have a lot of excuses about being the last guy in the climb. So I've perfected those over the years, because even in great shape, I'm still the slowest climber.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't matter what I do. Like I just can't climb. Like, and so I have like a whole like plethora of like jokes for the back. No, I'm just hanging out back here, make sure nobody drops anything. You know?
Yep. That's the best part about having a camera strapped to us sometimes is we could just act like we're talking to the camera even though it's not recording. You ever do that one?
Yeah. Just people leave you alone.
Get out of my hair, kid. You bother me.
That's good stuff. So at what point was it like, hey man, I needed to make a channel?
That's a great question. You know what it was is I told you with my job, it's very technically based. So it's like you're more analytical than anything. And I could feel myself losing my creativity. Like I always kind of prided myself on my quick wit and my improvisational ability of like just coming up with stuff. And like, I was kind of like, I found myself not like having, I could like somebody would say a clever thing to me and I didn't like have a retort, you know, which is obviously very opposite now. But I was like, man, I don't want to lose it. And then I just really started watching everybody's channels and I'm like, I can add a voice here. I think I can add a voice. I think I have something to say, you know? And so it really was. And somebody said this recently, I think maybe one of Crashing Dad's latest videos, he said, don't let being perfect ruin good enough or something like that. Right. You know, where it's like, you're like, oh, I can't start it until I get this camera. I can't start it. I don't have the right mic or like, you got a cell phone. Like, in fact, when I went on the fishing trip with Brian, we did at Nevada City where I took him down and we rode Nevada City and we went fishing and we caught a fish and all that stuff. Like, and then I really finally like saw his setup was just a cell phone and a GoPro. You're like, that's all you need. Like you're off to the races. I mean, everything else is icing on the cake. And it was like, I could do that. And so like, I just kind of like finally just sat down and I came up with, it's just, I finally just did it, I guess is what it was. And it was like, I'd really just want to like put my I needed a creative outlet for myself. Like that's really what it was. And so now it's really like forming into something different. It changes and evolves. And, you know, when you first start just like pure POV, like, I don't really know what the hell I'm doing. Like you can go watch the first video. It's like you always you told me when you go watch your old videos, you're going to be like, oh, this video I just released today, it's the best video I've ever done. But then you're going to go back, you know, 6 months from now and you're going to be like, man, I screwed up so much stuff in that video.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. It sucks too, because then you're just, you know, especially when you're doing like a podcast like this and you start complaining about it and people are like, but dude, I like those videos. And I'm like, well, yeah, I did too. Don't tell me. I'm not saying that like you're bad for liking them. You know what I mean? It's just that as you learn how to do more things, you're like, you just see more problems, so to speak, with what you did, you know, like, I guess, you know, I don't know. We're in it for like a couple of reasons, you know, we're in it because we want, you know, some kind of I can't say that word.
That's the only reason I'm in it. I want to be recognized everywhere I go, Robert.
Right. Yeah. So
you're in it millions of dollars. Those are the two main reasons I'm in this thing, to be honest.
So we start with those ideas and then it's like, but like, we also just probably want to beat ourselves up because we're like, oh yeah, here's something I can really talk shit about to myself about, you know. But I don't know. There's been a lot of good things, man. One of the biggest, you know, things is like at the end of the day, you have this like video photo album of your life that you can go back on, and like it's really cool. It's really cool. Even if you watch the video and you're like upset with how it was edited, you're like, you get to relive those moments, you know. That's pretty cool. You know, that's a really cool thing, you know.
I think it's super interesting. I treat everything as a learning experience. And so like this whole process has been one that's like, you know, I think I said recently in a post, I was like, you know, if you're getting comfortable, if it's easy, then you're not pushing yourself hard enough, right? So if you take that, no matter what it is, whether you're making videos or whatever else it is, if you're just like going to work every day and it's just routine and whatever, like maybe try to ask your boss if there's something else you can learn. Maybe try to elevate somehow, no matter what you're doing, is like try to push yourself a little harder. Like, so that's kind of what I am doing constantly now. I'm like, I had this idea for this video and I'm like, I don't know if I can pull this off, man. Like, and then I just reached out to everybody and they were so supportive about like helping make it. And it's like, now I've never done anything like this. Like a 20-minute long TV episode basically is what this is going to drop tomorrow. And so like now that opens the floodgates more for me. Like I've got all these crazy ideas that like, I think now I'm more capable of doing than ever before, because before I was just like, I don't know how to do that. I probably can't do that. And now I'm like, well, I did that. I could probably do that too. Right.
Yeah. Right.
So it's interesting, and it gives me no excuses to not try.
The Crashing Dad said a really good one here. He says, if you're not cringing at your previous videos, you're probably not getting better.
I'm going to be honest with you, Crashing Dad. You shut your mouth. All my past videos are incredible. I don't want to hear it from you, all right? And I don't like that Robert put it up on the screen, but
right.
Fine.
Enough of that.
Yeah. I think most of us are still pretty proud of what we've done in the past. Like,
yeah, totally.
I've only been at it for a year. I'm so new to this game that like you have been a huge help. I can ask you questions and you've got past experience that you can give to me. Like, and all that stuff is huge. I'm not afraid to reach out to people and just be like, I don't know what I'm doing, man. Like, what do you think about this? And so that's been a huge like weight off my shoulders, you know? Like,
yeah, I know it's definitely nice to have another group or like some other creators that you can like bounce things off of, especially other creators that are doing the same thing. So if you're new and you're, starting a channel, like if you have another buddy that's doing it, or, get on some boards and, see some other people that have similar subscriber count or something like that are just starting out, and collaborate with them, because it's all there's so much to like try to learn, like I don't know, most of us are not video people when we start. Like I remember, like, okay, I went out and I decided I was going to finally do this channel, and then I'm like, okay, I'm going to edit this, and I'm like, I don't know how to do that. So I'm like, okay, well, I guess I'm going to look for some editing software. And it's like, hey, this is Adobe Premiere. This is what people make movies with. Okay, well, I mean, if I'm in my mindset is like, hey, I'm going to do this, like, why go in and like learn how to use some like rinky dink program that is going to end up later like holding me back, right?
Yeah.
So in my mind, I'm like, okay, well, I know it's going to suck, but I'm going to have to like learn this program. But then it's like, okay, now you start and you're like, how do I get to start? And you look that up for like 20 minutes until you find the video that actually like tells you how to like just start the timeline. And then you're like, okay, now how do I make a cut? And you're looking around, you're like all these buttons all over the place, like it's a freaking cockpit of a jet, and you're like, okay, I made a cut. And then you're like, oh wait, I want to put some words on the screen. Oh fuck. There goes another 3 hours on YouTube. It's like took so much time. I was like, I remember thinking, why is there not a video? I'm sure there's hundreds of them, but the YouTube search algorithm sucks. But why is there not a video that's like, hey, new guy, here's what you do. Click this button, and then that does that, and then drag this on here, and then that does that, and then click this, and then there's how you export. It's like
the worst thing about YouTube sometimes is not only that, but like it's like the 4-minute intro that people do before they tell you what you want to know. It's like, hey, on today's video, we're gonna tell you all about how to click this in Premiere. Then it's like 30-second intro, and then it's like, okay, hey, so let me tell you about the sponsor I got, and then fucking 4 minutes later, god damn it, you finally get to the point.
Yeah, 4 minutes if you're lucky, right?
Dude, just show me in 30 seconds. I'm out. Like, just give it to me, all right? Give it.
The worst part now is that at least they used to like show you where the commercials were. So you would be like, oh, there's one coming. I'm going to click 2 ahead so I can see if maybe it got to the point by then. But now they don't even show them on the timeline. So you're just like, oh, he's about to say it. Blink. Now it's a commercial. There's an ad playing.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. It's just ridiculous. So
I spent probably 80% of my time when I first started this whole YouTube thing, just like looking at tutorials. Like, like just how do you do this? How do you do that? Like, I had been out of it for so long. I'd edited a few things like in Premiere, like before, but it had been years, man. So it was like just getting real back into it. Like it was such a fresh. I knew cut and paste, and I knew how to do some other things, but that was it,
Yeah.
So I'm definitely probably still to this day only using like 25% of its capacity. Like I'm not even stretching it.
Yeah, no, I'm sure there's some stuff that I see that other people do, and I'm like, I don't even have a clue how to do that, and it looks sick, It's weird too. Do you notice that you like watch TV totally different now? I feel like some kind of like weird like SoCal snob, because I'm like, oh, did you see that transition? That was good. Like my lady's like, what the fuck are you talking about? The guy just got murdered. And I'm like, no, I don't even care about that. Did you see the way they cut to that scene? Oh my God, that was so cool.
I think I literally had a long conversation with my wife once. I'm like, do you see why this is so cool? And she was so aloof and uncaring about what the hell I was talking about. It was just like, shut up. Like, yes. Did you see what they did here? They timed the music perfectly with the thing. And she's like, cool.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
great.
Yeah.
I had this that reminds me of before I made that video of the I think it's called how to fail miserably at YouTube, but originally it was supposed to be a how to do YouTube video. It's kind of like a sarcastic one. Have you seen that one?
I remember watching that one. Yep.
Before I made that, like at the time I was thinking, oh man, I just want to make a different channel that I can like do whatever I want to do on it, you know? And that's kind of what it was like. I was like, I'm going to try to like make this like funny video and just see how well it does. And if that channel starts doing well, then I'll just start doing whatever I want to do. And I won't be like limited by mountain bike material.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Kind of like what Seth's doing with Burn Peak.
Yeah.
Whatever, Express or something, right? But anyways, I already forgot what I was. Oh, so I was like, oh man, I had like 3 or 4 different video ideas. So, but I start pitching the lady on that video and like, I'm like, oh, I think it's going to be hilarious. And like, this is what I'm going to do. And this is how the scenes are going to go. And she listens to me for like 15 minutes. And then she looks at me and she's like, why can't you do that on your own channel? I don't think you understand. No, I do understand.
Yeah.
Why can't you do it on your channel? Like you already have like 10,000 people that are watching. Why do you want to start a new one?
Yeah.
Well, because I can't do it. Yes, you can. I guess you're right.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like you just crushed it.
Yeah. Yeah. But she was right. I think she's right. I think anybody comes to anybody's channel for them. Like we're coming to watch you. We're not. I mean, it is mountain biking, but like look at Crash Dad here making chip drink videos. You know, it's like if we're not doing what we want, I mean, I don't know. It's a hard line to follow because if I wanted to be successful, which I'm not going to be, if I wanted to be successful, I'd go make some bike review videos and like do a couple things properly by the books because that will get me views. But like instead, I made a 20-minute long Reno 911 spoof. You know what I mean? Like that nobody's gonna watch.
Yeah.
But like I don't know. A part of me realized by making this one that like that's what I'm committed to is what I want. And like you know, if, you know, it's not gonna get me long term. Like I'm never gonna get to as big a single track, whoever else, because like there's going to be such a niche market for what I'm making, but like that was so goddamn fun that like, I can't not do it. Like, it was just so fun. Like, and it was like, I could go make another, I don't know. Like okay. So this year, I think like now that I reached 1,000, it was like, okay, what's my next goal? I was like, I want to hit 10,000 by the end of 2021. Jesus, and it's like an arbitrary number.
That's a big jump, dude.
I know it's an arbitrary number and it doesn't mean anything. And it's totally like unrealistic, but it's like, now that I think about it, I'm like, that's not really that important to me after all. Like once like started making this stuff, I'm like, let's just make some fun stuff. And there'll be a few people that dig it. And I think there's some here and we'll see how it goes. I mean, whatever. I think it's a fun creative outlet. And
I think I had to go through some motions to get to there.
Yeah.
Like when I first started, I definitely thought, oh, I'm going to bring something that's different, and then I was like, I wanted my channel to get big.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then after a while, I realized that something I'm doing is not making my channel get big. So, but I'm enjoying what I'm doing. You know what I mean? So I was kind of like in this like weird spot then, because it was like, obviously I would have 30,000 subscribers by now if I'd been doing YouTube for 2 years and I was doing it right. Like whatever I'm doing, like, let's just say at that point, I'm like, okay, so what the hell am I actually doing here? Like, why am I like, I know I'm not quitting my job because like, I have to have like 1 million subscribers before I get to the point of like making the money. Maybe not that many, but like I need couple 100,000 subscribers before I can make the money that I could literally quit my job. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's not happening anytime soon. I mean, at this point, I think I've been doing YouTube for like 4 years, dude. I got like 12,000 subscribers.
Yeah.
Like I'm definitely not killing it, but I've definitely had a shit ton of fun, you know? So
I think I've got personally like, and you probably too, we've got so much to say. Like now ideas are just like the floodgates are open, man. Like I got so much stuff on a piece of paper to film now that like, I don't even know how I'm going to find the time to do it. So it's like, if people are around for the ride, it's going to be wild. And again, like No Front Brake says, you're right. And only 2 viral videos away from 100K.
Right.
But like, you know what it
Yeah, he's
forced me to
totally
do
right
is
there too.
it forced me to define what I think of as success. And so
Yeah.
like, if you would have told me, when I started this channel a year ago, that like I would have been able to ride with some amazing people and meet all these great people and, do this thing and, meet you and be on your podcast and do all this other stuff, like I never would have believed you. I mean, like the community that's like built up around our area and some of the stuff we do already is incredible. It's like,
Yeah.
that is almost success. Like when you could just like having people to ride with that are so cool is like, it's really interesting to me. I don't know. I kind of define that more success than anything now.
Yeah, it's totally weird. Like, when I meet people that don't know that I'm a YouTuber, and we get done with the ride and they're like, yeah, dude, if you ever want to ride sometime, hit me up. And I'm like, I don't know how to explain it, but it's like, dude, I actually don't have that option, what you're talking about, because I have somebody asking me to ride all the time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
And it's like, and I sometimes want to ride by myself, and
Yeah.
sometimes I want to ride just with my buddies. And it's like, I feel bad. I always am like, like, oh yeah, yeah. I don't know what to say, right? You know what I mean? It's just kind of like, but it's like, you have in this area at least, and I would imagine your subscribers are probably similar, that a lot of them are from here.
Sure. Yeah.
So it's like, there's a lot of people that are like super cool people that are like, hey, let's go ride. So you meet somebody that doesn't know that you do that, and you're like, yeah, I'd definitely like to ride with you sometime. Fucking send me a calendar invite, dude, because I'm gonna forget. I can't even remember from the 16 people that sent me messages on Instagram, especially like the other 25 on Facebook, and the 3 emails that I got. I'm like, there was a guy that was gonna show me this trail in Angwin. Who the hell was he?
Yeah.
Like 3 months later, I found out it was Bike Some. Like,
that guy's a hooligan,
right? But like, I was like, man, I was gonna go down there, and now I don't remember who the hell it was.
Yeah.
And then I'm like looking through Instagram messages for like an hour. Nope, wasn't Instagram. Like, like, did he send me an email? I don't know. Was it on Patreon? I don't know. Like, so it's interesting. These are like the first world problems. But I think what I was getting at earlier though was I had to go through this moment of like realizing that, okay, my channel's not going to blow up, or it's not looking like that is like my road to success. Like, I'm not like, holy shit, I'm at 100,000. It's been 6 months, like, so I needed to like wrap my head around it, where it was like, all right, this is something that I'm doing for fun, and like, how do I want that to happen? You know what I mean? And like, stop putting this pressure on myself to have something that is maybe not easily obtainable as I thought it was going to be. Like, I would have, if you would have asked me when I started where I'd be at in 4 years, I would definitely think I'd be at least at like 70,000 subscribers by now. You know what I mean? Like, not where I'm at, but I didn't know. Like, I didn't know. You know what I mean?
I don't think there's an answer to the right form. If we all knew like the what made it like, if we all knew the answer, we'd all be doing it. Like,
yeah,
I think there's a traditional route that people follow, and they create incredible content that people want. And I'm obviously doing the exact opposite. But like, I'm now treating it like, essentially, like, the realization that I had is I'm now treating it as a way to like put my brain in a video form. Like,
just to have fun.
What did I come up with? And what can we do? And, if people dig it, they dig it. And if they don't, then I totally understand. It's a weird sense of humor. And, but I think we're having a lot of fun with it. So it's like, what can you do? What can you do?
I think I realized that, and even just had like a little like aha moment a couple of weeks ago, maybe it was a month ago. And, I was like watching one of my old videos, and it was just like, it was making me laugh, the shit that I was saying, and somewhere along the line, I was trying to like clean stuff up so that, a bunch of people were telling me, oh, it's because you cuss too much and you like do this or that, and that's why you're not getting subscribers. So I was trying to like mind my P's and Q's, and I was like, that's not who I am. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like, I mean, it's not like I'm getting on video and being fake, but it's like, oh, I'll just edit out all the fucks. You know what I mean? Like just edit right around that, and I was like watching some video, and I was going down the trail and just saying some stupid shit. And I was like, that's funny. It made me laugh.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's what I need to keep doing, because that was fun,
I think there's something to that, man. Like I said, we're gonna be working. We got all kinds of cameras and stuff now. We're gonna do all kinds of weird stuff up here in NorCal. Nobody's gonna know what to expect.
Right. Yeah, I know. And I think the other thing too is like learning at what you're good at. You know, when I first started, I would have thought that like I was gonna do like reviews and I found out real quick, dude, I hate doing reviews. Like it is not my thing. Like
I do have a good idea for a parody mountain bike review video, and it's going to involve like smoke machines and lasers and all kinds of stuff. So I may film that.
I'm in. I'm in when I don't have to edit it. That's all I really want is you to get big, and then I can just be one of your like lackeys on the side that just gets, you know how like what's it, Mr. Beast? Like all his buddies are like freaking probably loaded because, you know, every time he does like a new, like, hey, sit on this toilet for 3 days and you get $60,000, right? So like, I'll be one of the guys that sits on the toilet or on the mountain bike for 3 days and you can give me $60,000 and then I don't have to edit the video. So just keep making shitty videos, Joe, and
100%.
We'll both be happy.
That's my specialty. I like when I made that Hero Dirt one, like where it's a minute-long video that I shot like an artsy coffee, like a coffee farm commercial, but for Hero Dirt. I knew nobody was gonna watch it. Like I spent a ton of time on that. Like it was whatever. I thought it was funny.
I watched it. I thought it was funny too. Yeah, I liked it whenever you were like letting the dirt kind of like go through your fingers. Your channel's come a long way though, dude. I know whenever I first watched your channel, I remember having a conversation with B1KER about you. And I was like, I think this guy's channel is going to go like blow up. Yeah. Just because like you have the right personality. You like, I could tell that it was just a matter of like you kind of figuring out you and like what you're doing. You know what I mean? And I think,
I totally get it. Yeah.
I think what you're doing now where you're like doing like more kind of planned videos rather than like trying to do POV or whatever. Like you have a great, like you're onto something, I think is what I'm trying to say.
The unfortunate side of that is like the 40 hours that went into making this video, you know, like the planning, the shooting and all that. Like there's a lot more involved, but it's like so fun that like, how can I argue with it? And it, you know, a lot of that has to do with like suggestions from people. Like, it's not just like, it's just not just like me. It's, you know, I remember like one of the moments that really kind of put me in a bind was when Paul the Punter mentioned me on I think it's Joey podcast or something right after Shane and I did a video together, and he was like, that guy would have been great like 5 years ago, and like it like really did kind of sit with me for like about a couple of weeks. I was just like,
yeah, he's good at saying shit like that just fucking works on your soul for a little bit, and then you're like, damn it, he was right. You know, but it wasn't mean. It was just he just points shit out like that.
That's exactly it. It wasn't like, it was just kind of sad. I was like, well, and then you're like, at first you're like, okay. And then like, you're like, oh, wait, what does he mean by like, and it really made me think, like rethink what the channel was going to be. And it made me realize that it's malleable. Like it can always change. It can always turn into something different. You can make a suggestion and I go, that's a good point. Like, let me make some changes there. Like, and all those things, like there's no defined definition for the channel or what it is. So it's like, it can always be whatever. And like, it's so random. Like one thing I can attest to is that when you come to this channel, you're never going to quite understand or know what you're going to get. Like that's kind of what I like. Like, you know, some guys are very consistent with content. I feel like every one of my videos has a very different feel or theme.
I think the one thing that you said a few minutes ago that I wanted to touch on, that I don't remember where I saw it. I think it actually might have been an interview with Mr. Beast. But even if that video, like you said, oh, it took like 40 hours or whatever, like he said, make one video a month that's really freaking good.
Yeah.
That could get 60,000 views, right? Let's just say a number. Instead of making one every week that gets 2,000.
Yeah.
Like, what's it matter?
Yeah.
Like, if that's what like you really like, and that's like what does it, you know what I mean? Like, I feel like too many people get stuck on this idea of, oh, I need to make X amount of content in X amount of time. I know I was that way for a while. I was like, oh, you had to do, like B1KER told everybody you had to be 3 videos a week. You know what I mean?
Too. Yep. 100%.
You know?
I was like, I got to have one out every week or every 2 every week. And then maybe that's the definition of success. I think ultimately you will get subscribers that way.
Yeah.
But maybe it's not. Then like single track sampler is the example to that now, right? Like everyone's like, what happened to him? Whatever. And then he comes up, boom, his video gets 3-4 million views. Like, it's like, he's not on a timetable anymore, and he knows he doesn't need to be on one. You know, it's amazing.
Yeah. Just do whatever. And I mean, at this point, that's where I'm kind of like, I'm totally like single track sampler, you know. Maybe my release schedule is, but my view count's definitely not there. But
no break says, look at trail features, one every 6 months.
Right. But they kill though. Trail features videos kill. Like he'll
I text him. I was like, what the hell? Why did your hydraulic brake video go so crazy? He's like, I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel like he knows somebody on the inside.
He's pulling all kinds of weird tricks for sure.
Right.
You guys know it. We know it.
He's definitely he's on to something that we're not sure about.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
even your quality content that people want, whatever.
Right. I think what he's been doing really well is that he's touching that market of people that are new to biking.
Yeah.
And that are like also not willing to spend a shit ton of money.
Yeah.
And a lot of us aren't necessarily doing that because we're really into biking. Yeah. So we've spent a shit ton of money on our bikes or whatever. And then it's like some of that stuff is just like way out of reach. Like in my mind, I don't really realize how much my bike costs.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Cause it's like, oh, I bought this frame and then I got these wheels and then I bought, you know what I mean? But like, cause I didn't go out and buy it brand new, but like, if I would have bought that bike when it came off the showroom floor, it's probably like a $9,000 bike.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's not how much I paid for it, but but then I have to like put that into perspective of like somebody else that's like, hey, their budget's like $1,500. They're looking at this bike on like, holy shit, dude.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And
that's got to be the bigger market than like the guys like us that can spend whatever.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. No, definitely. It definitely is. You know what I mean? So it's like, yeah, I don't know.
I think Savant capitalized on that really well too. I remember he's been being at like 7,000 or something. Then he started making kind of some more budget oriented bike videos, and it was like boom, 20,000 instantly. Tell the guy to make some more damn videos. I'm gonna call him right now.
Right, just put him on the line. Have you met him in person?
No, we keep meaning to, and it just never works out. And then the COVID thing hit, so I know he was pretty scared of that for a while, from my understanding. But
he's like
rode with DeGonger today.
Yeah, he's just as even keel on his videos as he is in person. You're like, oh yeah, dude, this guy's like chill.
Yeah, people often tell me just to shut up most of the time.
Just shut the fuck up, man.
Can you stop talking for like 3 minutes? That's a lot to ask, but I might be able to pull off a minute and a half if you ask nicely.
That's how I introduce that. I explain you to the lady. I'm like, yeah, he makes me feel like I don't talk that much, and she's like, really? Yeah. She's like, you won't shut the fuck up. And I'm like, yeah, imagine that.
Yeah. And the first time I went on a podcast, RC invited me to his, and he was like, oh, let's do like a half-hour podcast or whatever. We ended up talking for 2 hours, and it's because I wouldn't shut up. Hey, look at it. He's got technical malfunction. What is he doing? Plugging it in?
Yep. That's what happens whenever you stand on your freaking cable.
Rookie.
Right. Well, I have this super long mic cable or headphone cable. So originally I bought it so that I could get up in the middle of the stream and go get more beer out of my fridge.
Yeah.
But now that I'm not drinking beer this month, this cable is fucking worthless other than me yanking it right out of my headphones. Well, I'm just sitting like the ADD in me is just sitting here like twisting it in knots and then like, oh, wow, that's weird. Put your foot down. Now you just yanked it out of the headphones. So anyways, you were going to tell me something very valuable and I don't remember what it was.
I totally forgot too. Whatever. It was probably a valuable lesson that everyone could learn from in chat, but unfortunately, sorry guys, I forgot.
Right. So looking back on your channel, what do you think that you should have done differently?
Learn how to make a goddamn thumbnail.
Yeah. Like from the get-go.
Here's the thing I still like don't understand, and I don't know if anybody does. Like, is it the thumbnail and title that like what makes the video successful? Is it because it's good? Is it like I don't know. I still don't know that answer. Like so to me, like it takes me a ton of time to make a thumbnail because I don't know what the hell I'm doing, and like it's the cover to your book, and if it's not good, like then somebody doesn't click on it, they never see your video, they don't know who the hell you are. It's like it's a frustrating endeavor.
Yeah. Yeah, and you can watch like 16 different videos and everybody will tell you that their way is the best way and they'll all be different.
Yeah.
You know, and you're like, I don't even know.
I would probably pay someone $100 per video just to make a thumbnail for me.
I'll do it.
Okay.
You didn't say it had to be like good.
I know. God. My God,
Yeah.
it's so stressful. Like you did all this time. You're like, what made it fail? Was it that it sucked, or was it just like the thumbnail wasn't good? I don't know. I don't know.
There's
Probably both.
analytics
Probably
that you can
both.
look at for that though to tell.
Mm.
Because like if people are watching your video for a long time, but you're not getting a lot of views, then that tells you that your thumbnail sucks.
Okay, that makes sense. That's one thing I was trying to work on is like the keeping people in, and now like my like keeping people. What do you call that again?
Retention.
Yeah, the retention's a lot higher now. So now that I started doing higher production value and stuff like that, that was one of my goals is to get higher retention value. So maybe all my thumbnails just suck.
Yeah, right.
But I mean, like I don't have any subscribers anyways. Like I've spent the most money as a YouTuber on the lowest subscriber count channel ever. Like, so
nah, dude, I think you're right on track with everybody else, dude. I mean, all of us, dude, when we were at 1,000, dude, we spent the same amount of money, just like way more than what you thought.
Yeah.
At least me, you know.
Yeah.
I know I was in that boat. And I think for me though, too, it's just like you were talking about earlier, like you get all in on something. So it's like, I probably could have not bought lights and cameras and this and that until I got to like 20,000 subscribers or something. Yeah. But me, I'm like, no, dude, I buy everything. I need a boom mic. I need a this. I need a that. You know, it's like, holy shit. Do you do your taxes with are you running Calirado Kid as a business?
I can't. I haven't monetized anything yet. So as far as I know, it's just a hobby. So
yeah,
like
so
theoretically, like monetization will happen this week if I wanted to, but like maybe in 2021. And that would be like helpful just because, maybe some of the camera gear or whatever, like to write off or whatever. But I mean, I don't know a lot about that side of things either. So
yeah, I started right away, dude. I was like, fuck yeah, dude. We're gonna run this bitch out of loss for a while.
I think that's how people see it. Yeah, it's like that way we can start writing stuff off, and there you go. So
I mean, like it was honestly a big thing for me because I was able to it was two things. I was able to write off, you know, stuff that I was going to buy anyway because I ride bikes. You know what I mean? So now it's part of the business. And then you could write that off. And I was like, okay, well, maybe I'm not making a ton of money on YouTube, but I sure saved myself a ton of money on freaking my taxes. So that worked out. But my tax person did say at a certain point, they're like, you know, you have to actually start making money, right? Or this won't be a business. Like, yeah.
That's neither here nor there.
Yeah. Tell fucking Elon or whatever, you know, over there at Tesla, they're not making money yet.
No Front Brake says you can run it for a loss for 5 to 8 years. Excellent. Yeah, that's what I'll be doing.
Yeah, that's basically what my tax person said as well. So
that's my long-term plan.
Right
there.
So like my first question after she said that was like, so after 5 years, if I start a different channel, she didn't really bite on it yet. So I'm coming on 5 here in the next year or so. So I'm gonna have to start pressing her on it a little bit more. But yeah, no. So like I was saying earlier, like you kind of figure out what you're good at, you know, and I definitely figured out that I'm not good at like reviews and that stuff. But the podcast is something I'm pretty good at, and I really enjoy doing it because there's like just come out here and talk, you know. So what's something that you feel like you had to like go through that learning curve with to feel like, hey, this is what I'm good at, or this is what I'm not, or
I think I always kind of understood the fact that like I'm a showman to a certain extent. Like I want to get out in front of people and put on a show. So it's like that's the kind of thing I did know that I was capable of, but like I just didn't know how to structure that creatively. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like I knew how to be a voice, but like what was that in the long term? Like originally it's just me like making all kinds of well-timed jokes on the ride and the PhD stuff. And I still look back and I think that stuff I thought it was funny. I still think what I did was funny. But like finding the way to structure it in different ways. So all these latest videos have been like different experiments in how to form that vision. And I don't know what it is like, but it's just like, like I said, every successive video that I do, I'm like, I get a little bit more skills. And so now I think of it like, why can't I make that video now? If I could do this one, why can't I do this one too? Like, so now it's really, like I said, it's opened the floodgates. I've got all kinds of ideas and I'll probably pitch you on a bunch of them. And
no, I'm down, dude. I'm totally down. It was really fun. It was really fun working together. And I had like talked to you about that a little bit on one of our rides about like, I really feel like a successful channel would be getting a handful of these guys like us that are, you know, not obviously freaking turning into like Seth Bike Hacks next week.
Yeah.
And just getting together and building a channel that's built on like us collaborating. You know what I mean? Instead of like trying to like do our own thing, or I don't know how we do it, but I don't know. It's just a thought of mine. It's like, because it's really fun working that way.
I think it's, yeah, I really like that idea too, because basically like you could take all the workload off of one person, and now you've got multiple people working on videos for the same channel constantly. That steady flow of quality content versus like the once every 2 weeks or once every month or whatever it is. Like you could see that propel pretty quick. I think that you could avalanche it, you know?
Yeah, because like what I was telling you on the ride was like, if you like, let's just say there was 5 of us, right? And you know, or let's say it's you and 5 of your friends, somebody out there that's listening, you know, like you guys could start a channel, and instead of each one of you having your own channel, start a channel together, and you still do your own individual stuff, but now you have somebody releasing on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, you know, or if it's just 3 of you, you have somebody releasing on Monday, somebody on Wednesday, and somebody on Friday, and you have 3 videos a week, and you guys will be able to like keep growing that way, you know. And I don't know, I think that is a good idea, but I like the idea of working together more on stuff, and we'll see where it goes, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I told you got my camera, you got my drone if you need it. So it's like, yeah, we come up with ideas, let's just execute. I like the idea. Just the collaborative process always brings out a better product, in my opinion. Like when you're trying to do stuff by yourself, and again with shooting this video, like realizing that like having people around to help is like exponentially easier than like trying to set the camera up, ride down, pick it up, go to the next thing. Let's like, this is just a nightmare, and I don't ever want to do it. But it's like, man, just having, like you said, even buddies that like kind of don't really know camera work, but it's like there's just it was just so much easier and better.
Yeah. No, it's definitely nice to work in that setting. It's fun though too. I mean, like still doing your own thing though. You know what I mean? So it's like, I don't know, man. Who knows? Who knows where it goes? I mean, at this point, obviously, I just need enough people on Patreon so I can get a couple more of those lights that are behind me right now.
I'm gonna go steal some more stuff from work.
Right? Why is it that every time that you're like, you have like a list of things that you want to buy for your channel or whatever, that you're like, oh, dude, once I got all this, dude, I'm gonna be set. That's all I need. And then as soon as you hit like buy on Amazon, like 10 seconds later, you're like, oh wait, but now I need to get this. I don't even understand.
It's 100% true. It's never good enough. You're like, now I got this, but like, what if I had the neutral density filter for the lens? And what if I had, you know, the extra memory card readers to pull the data faster? What if I got this camera can take CF Express cards, but they're $400 a piece. Do I need one of those? Like, should I get 2 of those? Like, I don't know. Like, what the hell? It's just an avalanche of pain and suffering.
Yeah. Even when I bought my last Bronson, it had to be like, I had to like sell a house in order to purchase that, you know? So that was the first time I ever bought a bike that was like, I think I paid $5,000 for that. Right. So I was like, dude, I sold my house and used some of the money from that so I could buy this bicycle. Right.
Yeah.
And I remember thinking like, this bike has everything that I could ever possibly want in a bike. I won't have to buy anythings for it except for maintenance. Dude, I had that bike for like 2 weeks. I was like, I need to buy new this. I knew it was like, this is garbage.
Yeah, like Jeff down there says, none of this will bring subscribers. You're 100% correct. But what it is we have obsessive personalities. And so it's like, like once you do one thing, it's like a snowball into like, I'm all in. Everything that I do, unfortunately, is that. And Robert too, it's like we're all in now. So it's like, we could do this, but we're like, we need this and this and this and this and this. And it's like just a full nosedive.
This other guy says, it's not an addiction. These are choices. No, you don't understand. It's an addiction.
Yes.
This is definitely a problem.
Yeah.
Yeah. So here we are. That's good stuff, man. So what are you thinking about for your next bike? You know, that bike, dude, I'm telling you right now, I'm gonna ruin your life. Like, dude, that bike's kind of old, man. You need something newer to like show your subscribers like you're riding something nice. And
it's the only way I'll get views if I do a new bike vid or
right.
new bike
Dude, that's what you need, dude.
You know, that's funny because that is the last thing I think about upgrading. I want to get a few new parts. Like I think like you could talk a lot of crap about my SRAM brakes or whatever the hell they are.
Oh
but
yeah,
like
those things need to go.
maybe going Shimano brakes. Like I need a tune up. I haven't had time to work on the bike because I'm just editing nonstop. It seems like, but I haven't even thought about bikes. Like this is the stupidest thing because I'm a mountain bike YouTuber. But like that sounds so absurd now that I said it out loud. But like
Right.
I haven't even looked at bikes. Like the one thing I would like is I really do think putting an e-bike in the stable would be the way to go. I know you rode one recently,
Yeah.
from my understanding.
Is that what we're talking about now? There
I
goes
think
half the subscribers.
I don't understand the stigma, man. I know you talk about that on almost every podcast, but like if you've never ridden like a crazy backcountry ride with one, it's like the coolest thing in the world or whatever it is. Like it doesn't need to be your daily driver, but I think having it in the stable to do stuff that you wouldn't have been able to, it opens up a new avenue. Like I know there's like hardcore elitists that are like, oh, you should be able to pedal it. But I'm like, yeah, you don't have to. There's so much fun in the world. Like, let's have all the fun we can have everywhere.
Yeah, I can tell you this. So I did that ride with the NorCal MTB guy.
Yep.
And if you guys are in NorCal and you don't follow them on Instagram, you should go check them out, NorCal MTB. Anyways, I did that ride with him because I'm really heavily like trying to decide whether I get one of two models, right? And so I rode the bike, and that was really the first time I've ridden an e-bike on the trail. Like I knew that I wanted one for like I don't have to shuttle by myself sometime, but I could have a shuttle day. You know what I mean? Or I want to go do this 30-mile loop, but I only have freaking 2 hours to do it, and I want to have that much fun. And when I rode the bike, I definitely had a great time, but I absolutely did not walk away from that going, oh, I don't want to ride my regular bike anymore.
Yeah, exactly.
Like I was like, no, this was different. Like it was a totally different way of riding.
Yeah.
Like even how you pedal is different because it's like, oh, it's better to be in a easier gear and pedal super fast because that like triggers the motor better, but like the way that you would brake or the way that you would do this, like all these things were like way different. And
when I first got on one, I was like, I forgot I had to shift for a second. I was like, oh crap, I still have to shift.
Yeah, right. Yeah. But like it definitely like to me, I'm like, no, I still want to go out there and freaking hate my life climbing up Clement time for freaking 40 minutes.
Yep.
Like there's days that's the part that I need. That's the like the soul crushing climb that I want to do. Like that's what makes you feel accomplished when you're done. Yeah. It's not just like how much fun you have.
Yeah.
But
I agree.
But on those days, like for instance, when we go and we shuttle out in the OHV park, the amount of time that we spend like setting trucks, we could just pedal up the hill with the e-bike. You know what I mean? Yeah. And now we did just as many laps, except for we weren't sitting in our truck for freaking 4 hours of the day driving up and down the hill.
Yep.
I mean, the other day when we were filming your thing, we were standing around there talking at the truck for a minute. We drove up to the top of the hill, and there's the dude on the e-bike that was down there at the bottom with us. Now he's at the top.
Yep.
It was like that was a pretty good realization for me. He actually mentioned it too after the fact that he was like, dude, that was pretty impressive. He's like, I got up there and you guys were just rolling up the hill in the truck, and he's like, that like sold me, and I was like, right on, dude.
Ashley's full commit. He's full commit with the e-bikes, and he is a world-class shit talker, which is why I had him in the video. Like,
yeah, no,
I have been meaning to put him in a video for a long time now because like he can just talk nonstop crap to me, and like that's what I like being talked down to.
Yeah, that's why you got married, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, no, dude, totally. He can improv really good. I'm pretty good at it. Like definitely you're pretty good at it, and I was like, oh yeah, I'll jump in the scene with him. And then he just started going, and I was like, he actually put me in a place where I was like, I don't have anything to say. I don't even like, I'm just like wowed by like, he's like, blah, 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 blah. And I was like, I got no jokes. He's got all the jokes. like, I don't know. I got like stage fright or something, man. I was like, I can't do this.
We amassed a hell of a team that day. It was so fun. Like even when you roll up, and you guys will see this video tomorrow, like Robert interrupts the scene and breaks my character. And I purposely left it in because it's such a good moment. Like I love it. And you just roll up and you just knock me down a peg and then just take off. Like it's so good, dude. I was like, it's staying. Yeah. I don't care. It's perfect.
I thought that would just make the outtakes, dude. I really did. But when I saw it in the cut, I was like, oh yeah, that's pretty funny.
Yeah,
That
and the
is
original idea was like it would be like a skit in the video. So the skit would be like I'd pull you over, you wouldn't see who you were until like I pulled you over, and you turn around and be like, "Hey, what's up, Joe? I'm oh nothing. Hey Robert, I'm filming this stupid video." But like this, it was the same premise. It's basically the same premise with a different execution. It was better because yeah, you had the idea. I was like, "Yep, that's it." So it's like we just find that creative zone. It was that was the funnest part. And like, by the way, like Kyle and Austin, we're getting somewhat sidetracked, but yeah, Kyle and Ashley, like they had never even hung out together, I don't think. So the fact that they were able to riff that quick together, like and improv all this stuff, which most of this stuff was impressive.
Well, an unprofessional Kyle was telling me today, he's like, yeah, dude, I totally thought I was like being worthless there. And I was like, dude, you were probably the one that made me laugh the most when I watched the video.
I told you guys when I was making it, I was like, Kyle's going to steal the show in this video.
Yeah. Everything that he said just cracked me up. It was like, oh God, it was like the timing and stuff is, I mean, some of that comes out in your edit. You know what I mean? Like you have to obviously edit it well for that to work. But holy cow, it was good.
Yeah,
definitely. This is like a 2-hour us talking everybody into trying to watch your video. We got 49.
I could still get like 300 views.
You're at least getting 49 views. So
I'll take it.
That's funny. You have you had a video with how well is your like best video doing? How many views?
The best video I did was with BKXC and Hartman Rocks. That was the final day of the Calirado Kids grand return to Colorado. I didn't film. We did the Chasing Epic trip, which was incredible. I staged the whole road trip and all the episodes, like all the videos like around that trip. So I had the 4 days. And so the second ride I did was with Crashing Dad and RC Outdoor Gold. And that was the catalyst for a lot of the stuff that's happening on my channel now. So we did that ride. Then I had every day I was in a new town riding a new trail. And then the final culmination was riding with Brian at the Chasing Epic. And so I met, some of the guys that are in the chat here. And I made that video on Hartman Rocks. I didn't film the other 3 days, which was incredible riding. And the final day, it was like a blizzard was coming in, 40-mile-an-hour winds, all this stuff. I was like, this is the perfect time to film. It fits right in with my channel. And so we filmed out there, and that video ended up, I think it's over 13,000 views.
All right.
So that's by far the most successful I've had. I mean, now they're kind of hovering around 1,000 for the most part. So that's still like when I left for Colorado, it was like 300 for video. So it's that's an increase for me.
Yeah. Well, and at this point, you're feeling like, most of your subscribers that are subscribed are watching your videos. So that's good too.
Yeah.
It just keeps getting better that way.
That's all it is. Yeah. Just slow gains. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. I remember like just my first video having a handful of views, and I was just like, holy shit, people are actually watching this.
Yeah, you wonder like what it is. How do people find you? I think a lot of it is like campaigning for yourself at first, like talking to people on the trail and like, hey, like I started this channel, like check it out. And now I actively try to dissuade people from watching it because I'm like, it's stupid. You're not going to like it.
Yeah. Don't do this.
Like last night I went out with some guys, and my buddy owns a bar downtown, and the bar's closed, but he was like, hey, just come over. We'll drink a couple things of whiskey and you can go. And I was telling him about the video because I was just so excited about it. And he's like, put it up on the big screen right now. I'm like, nah, you guys aren't going to. I don't want to stand around and awkwardly watch you not laughing at my video for 20 minutes. Right. Hell no.
So did you guys watch it?
No. I was like,
really? You really didn't do it? Oh, I would have said no, and then I would have been like secretly just waiting for him to say yes again, and then I would have done it.
I just know it's not up their alley. It's not like this caters to like a certain audience, like mountain bikers might get it, but like, I don't know, some random guy like be like, this is stupid.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're probably right. That's probably why I don't have a whole lot of friends. That's why I need a YouTube channel so I can actually have people like, this guy must be interesting. Nope.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Good stuff, man. Well, what do you know? So you're thinking you want to get an e-bike then, huh?
I think adding one to the stable opens up a lot of avenues, like because that backcountry ride I did in Downeyville, I could easily see more stuff like that, all day rides where you're just maxing out the battery, like getting it to 0 by the time you get back, or carrying a spare battery and doing some epic ride. I like the idea of that. I like I don't know, I think my normal bike is like fine, it does what I need it to do, like, and so that would add a different element and a different avenue to do different stuff with, like a different entirely different segment of riding,
Yeah, totally.
So I think it'd be interesting. I think one of the big goals, I really want to do a bike packing trip. Like that stuff fascinates me. If it's one thing I've learned, it's that I'm not necessarily like so adamant about downhill. Like I like it, but like to me, an adventure ride is funner than anything. Like
Yeah.
somebody says, "Hey, I know of this place. You want to go?" I never been there before. I never seen it. I never seen a video about it, and I like to just show up and just like, right? You're just winging it, and like that,
Yeah.
just seeing new things for the first time. That's what excites me the most in life. Like I love going to a place or seeing a thing that I've never seen. Like that's so fun to me.
Yeah. I like those rides where you're like exploring, you know, like that first ride anywhere is always the most fun, you know, or those ones
Yeah.
like you said, like I don't mind those rides where it's like, dude, we did a 35-minute epic hike a bike, dude. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But we got up to the top of this mountain and it was just like insane to look around, you know, and like I remember the first time that I rode to where like, hey, the trees are getting thin. Like they're, oh wow, I'm above the tree line. You know, like
Yeah.
this is cool. You know,
Yeah.
like
I remember you did a video, like I forget where it was, outside of Tahoe or something, and I remember seeing it, and I remember you were just like, you were talking about how punishing it was in the video. You're like, this is absolutely brutal. I don't know if I'll do it again, but like some of the stuff you showed was so incredible. I think you said it was still really cool. I can't remember what it was, but
I know exactly which one you're talking about.
yeah,
That's
and
probably-
I don't mind that. Like I don't mind that crazy like it's hailing, we're getting destroyed. Like
yeah,
there's something character building. That ride we did with BKXC with Brian out in the Hartman Rocks, like where it's 40-mile-an-hour winds, the snowstorms coming in, we're literally getting blown off the trail. Like I'm not kidding. Like the wind was so strong it would knock you off your bike off the trail. Like that's how crazy it was. And it was one of the funnest rides I've ever done because it was just like so absurd and ridiculous. But like we're all going through the same punishment together. It was so fun.
yeah. And whenever you get done too, it's like you really accomplished something.
Yeah, you went through it, you know?
Yeah, and then you're like always like super like that's what makes the good friendships.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like you're like I always say like when you do things that suck together, it makes for better friendships or relationships or whatever.
Yeah.
Like I mean when I was in the military, like we did a lot of shit that sucked together.
Yeah.
And that's why we're like the friends that we are. It did, you know what I mean? It didn't really have to do with all the beer that we drank or like, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
it was really like going through those crappy experiences and being like, hey, dude, you had to walk through that and I had to walk through that and we did it together and we came out of it. And like, that's why we're, you know, better friends, you know? And I say the same thing with like riding. Like, I love that I can ride with my lady and like, I feel like, hey, we went out, we like did this climb together, we got done, or if you're into hiking or whatever it is, like, go out and do something that sucks.
Yeah.
You know, it's probably
It's
not
amazing because that's one of your like, dude, you remember that time? That's one of those stories.
Yeah.
Like nobody ever forgets those ones. Like, and
Yeah.
even like it's like a night where you get the most hammered you've ever been in your life, and you're like, remember that time I stumbled around the Capitol building with a bottle of whiskey and like caught a bus or something? Like it's just like,
yeah.
for whatever reason, everybody always remembers that. They don't remember the night of drinking. They remember the aftermath. Like it's like the result. And so like, yeah, you go on that gnarly ride, you go on that gnarly hike, and it's like, man, like that stands out more than like the best day of downhill you've ever had. Like you could be like, man, I remember riding downhill for the first time. And it's like, but you don't remember that as much as you remember like just eating it, you know, or whatever it is.
Yeah. Oh man. I'm kind of getting excited about Downeyville this year. I think we're gonna have an early season.
I think so too. It's probably good right now. It's 70 degrees. Did they even get any snow this year?
Yeah, I don't even think it's coming
I
home.
might go the next weekend.
Right. We should probably go take the e-bikes up there right now. We ride.
Oh, man, that'd be so fun. The best part about that was like I had planned the e-bikes because I'm like, dude, let's get up there. They're not running shuttles. It might be pretty light with people on the trail. And then like that night when we're in the cabin ready to launch for the next day or whatever, they're like, oh, we're opening shuttles again. Damn it.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't want to be the butthole climbing up. So like the backcountry thing was like, we asked the shop owner and he was like, go there. And it was one of the coolest things. It was just so crazy.
Yeah, there's the one that oddly enough we ran into each other there.
That's right. That's maybe the first time we ran into each other. I was like, "Oh, what's up, man?"
Yeah. It was kind of funny because we drove up and we self-shuttled, and then you're like, you rolled up in your e-bike and you're like, yeah, they're doing shuttles, and we all looked at each other like, oh, we just drove like 3 cars up here, so that's great. Thanks.
We're all in the same boat of discovery,
right? Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, you know, that's one of those things where maybe we should do it together. You just said you like doing shitty things together. My one buddy's trying to talk me into climbing up there to the top of the Downeyville.
the peak or whatever.
No, not to the peak, like from town riding up to the
Oh,
top. There's a way that you go that's not the same way that people descend. So you go out the road like the same way that the shuttle trucks go, but then
yeah.
it's like you catch this fire road or something like that. Basically, you do like 5,000 feet of climbing to get up there. And it just sounds horrible. But like, you know, when somebody says something to you and like your first knee jerk reaction is like, get out of here. You're stoned, dude. I don't even
Yeah.
care what you're saying. And then like a couple days later, it's like just starts creeping up. Like
Mm-hmm.
that's what he did to me. Like he was like, hey, dude, I'm going to go climb Downeyville next week. You want to do it? No, that's stupid. Like everybody takes a shuttle. You know why they have shuttle services there? Because it's dumb to climb that.
Yeah.
And then like a week later, I was like, well, I mean, I've done like 3,000 feet. And then I did that ride that was 4,000 feet. And it was like I did another ride that was like 4,500 feet. I'm like, I'm only 500 feet away.
Yeah. And you're like, I didn't feel that bad after
Yeah.
that. I mean, it was like, the only time I've had the experience where I've regretted it is when I'm doing that solo. Like when I did one in Colorado by myself out in Salida, I climbed this fire road and it was the worst experience in my life. Like I didn't cut that all out of the video, but it was awful.
Yeah.
Like if I had been with somebody, we would have laughed the whole way up.
Right.
But like instead, I'm by myself, just in the middle of nowhere, like just suffering.
Yeah.
Character building is what it is.
Sometimes you need those rides by yourself though. Do you do that? Like I definitely sometimes I'm like, I'm not telling anybody I'm riding. Like other than like, hey, this is where I'm going, lady, you know? So
yeah,
if I don't come home, that's where you know where I'm at. But it's like sometimes I just need those rides where I just like go out and just like give it to myself all day. You know what I mean? It's like not a good pace or anything like that. You're just out there in your head, just freaking putting some elevation in. And like, yeah, you have your fun spots, but you're like, dude, I just need to beat myself up today. I don't know.
Yeah. No, 100%. Yeah, there's something about that like personal challenge, and it's like that's sometimes when you come up with ideas or you get a chance to think about stuff, and like that's helpful too. I didn't do anything arduous like Friday night. I just went out on a night ride. Some of this is also stems from just being a poor planner and not thinking to invite anybody. But like I just went out Friday night with some lights and just rode out in Folsom Lake for an hour, and it was just quiet. And I ran into all kinds of wildlife, and it was just like I spent more time just exploring than I did like actually like doing anything meaningful. But it was great. Like I like that. And today I ended up going out on the road bike out on the American River Trail. You know that. I mean, it's like we're not road bikers. Like it gets pretty boring pretty quick. Like there's something about it. I don't know how they do it, like with the Lycra suits. I don't know how you stay engaged, but I ended up riding all the way to Folsom. Like I just kept going, and like I was in Folsom. I was like, I think I went too far. I better get home. Like I got a podcast to go on to.
Right.
Like
You're
35, 40 miles or something. I think. I don't know.
Really? Right on, dude. So
I don't keep track. You want to, here's your thumbnail. There's a dirty secret about the Calirado Kid. He hasn't started Strava in over a year.
Yeah. That's crazy. I like the numbers, dude. I like the data.
Just one more button to press. I can't. There's too many buttons to press already.
I like it. Then it makes me feel like I'm important. I got buttons to push.
I know. When I can chase somebody down a trail and like actually keep up, I know that I'm okay. Like it's like, all right, I'm doing pretty good. One of these days, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go back to Auburn and I'm going to start it. And I'm going to do a downhill section and just see if I blow my old times away. Like, because it has to. It absolutely has to.
It would just be awful if you didn't.
It was the worst. I just bought Onyx hubs. Nothing.
It doesn't matter. Oh, it's horrible. Shit, I was going to say something. Oh, you mentioned night riding. I have been doing some this winter because I don't know why. Like last year, I don't feel like I did barely any night rides.
Yeah.
And this year I've been on a handful of them already. And dude, I miss that. It's super fun riding at night.
It is really nice. It's a totally different vibe. There's nobody else on the trail. It's so quiet. Like there's something better about it. Like, because some trails just get clogged. Like we went to Auburn yesterday. It was the busiest I've ever seen it. Like good luck. We were dodging hikers left and right. Like you go there at night, nothing. Like I don't think I've ever night ridden in Auburn, but I usually go to Granite Bay, like because they close the gates at 7 or 8 or something like that, and you can get a good hour or two out there. But there's just nobody out there. The only thing that I almost ran over a fox, and there was a bunch of deer everywhere.
I'll tell you, one of the cooler moments that I've had night riding was in Auburn, and I was going down the connector trail. So those of you guys that aren't from around here, it's kind of like it's like a roller coaster trail. It's just like super fun, like downhill, but it's like not going straight down. You're like going up and down these like little like, I don't know how, not hills, but like, like rollers, kind of like you're like going up this, down that, up this, down that while you're going.
I like that trail a lot, by the way.
So I'm fun, and the whole trail has like a canopy. You're in the woods the whole time. You're not like out in the wide open or anything like that. And I'm just like killing down the trail, and there's like two bats that were in front of me, because when you're out there with the lights on, you're attracting the bugs, and then the bats are like, you're like basically like calling lunch for them.
Wow.
And we were like going down the trail together, like me and these two bats, and we're just like like through all the turns and stuff, and it was just like, this is so cool, like that we're like just like going down this, I don't know, it was really neat for me. It was one of those moments.
I think it's so interesting. That's the stuff that I like am so excited about. Like we were riding Skyline one time, and we have a bunch of us, all right, and like I'm just like riding along, and then I see a banana slug, so I stop the bike. Everybody's like, what the hell's happening? You pop a tire. I'm like, no, look at this banana slug. And everybody's like, can we just keep riding? Like I'm just totally distracted.
Yeah. That's good stuff, dude. I'll tell you though, there is like a fine line where all of a sudden you get creeped the fuck out. You know, like I don't know, like I want to say I was out in Salmon Falls once, and it was like, what are those eyes over there?
Oh,
You know,
yeah,
and
the glimmer,
like,
just the glimmer you see.
yeah, you're like, what the hell was that? And then like that night, and specifically, like you could hear like, I don't know if it was somebody's dogs or some freaking coyotes out somewhere like howling, but I saw this like flash of eyes, and I was like, oh shit, what is that?
Yeah.
Like, I'm about to get eaten, you know? And then like another like 30 yards, and it's like, oh, that was a deer. But it was like, for a moment, that was definitely a Sasquatch, you know, or a mountain lion, you know.
I get that same sensation when I see somebody with binoculars, because ever since Crashing Dad was like outside my house, like 20 feet away with binoculars looking in my bedroom window, it just freaks me out now.
Yeah, there you go. When did that happen?
No, let's not talk about that. He's in here. Yeah, it's funny though. Yeah, when you're cruising through with the lights and you see that just two eyes pop up, you're like, oh, all right, keep going. They probably can't catch me anyways.
Yeah, totally. I was out actually on that same trail once, and apparently turkeys like to get up in trees. Did you know this? I did not know this. Have you ever heard a turkey gobble like right next to you?
Yeah.
They're freaking loud. They're like really loud. Like it's not like this. It's not like this friendly thing that you hear on the fucking TV, dude. So like imagine riding through the trail at night, and it's dark as hell, right? You got like, I think I was like in like a climbing kind of thing where I like had it on my lowest setting, so I'm like saving battery, you know, like just enough light to see what I'm doing. And I'm going under this tree, and this turkey freaking let out this like gobble of doom. Dude, I almost shit my pants, man. Like it scared the living crap out of me. Like it was like, oh my God. That was definitely not a good moment.
Turkey-induced mud butt.
Yeah, right. I came down in a trail in Auburn. I was on the Confluence once, and there was like a carcass, like to the bone, cleaned off, like the vertebrae and the rib cages just laying there of like some deer that, assuming some mountain lion or some bear ate, you know. And like, it's just laying in the middle of the trail. Like, I know there's a lot of people on this trail all the time, so it's not like that was just kicking it here for the last 10 years and I just ran up on it, you know. It's like, oh God, I'm glad it's on this trail, because like now I can like haul balls to get out of here.
Although somebody in like one of the mountain bike forums or Facebook groups would be like, some local hikers dragged the carcass to interrupt the mountain biking downhill.
Yeah, right. Yeah. There's some funny things you see out in the trail, and you can remember them on your own. But if somebody asks you like, hey, what's the weirdest shit you ever seen? You're like, I don't see anything. I never saw anything out there.
I remember hauling ass one time, and the guy and my buddy Ollie was in front of me, and we're going downhill. And all of a sudden, like, I just see something move, so I stop. You know, again, I get distracted by shiny things quickly, and I'm seeing this movement, and I stop, and I got video of it. Like, basically, like, I was like, what is that? I look on the trail, it's a lizard's tail, and it's just like flipping around like this. So what happened is the lizard ran across the trail. Ollie ran over the tail. It broke off from the lizard. And what I didn't understand, like I knew that they twitched a bit, but it was like full on like writhing on the trail. And I was like, that is the best defense mechanism I've ever seen. Like, because obviously if something was trying to eat the lizard, they would totally go after that tail. Right. But like, it's just moving around. I was just like recording it. He's like, what are you doing? I'm like, this is fascinating. Like, it's just like totally interesting. Like, and it's just I mean, how did that come about? I don't know. It was interesting.
Yeah, it's just weird stuff, man. It's definitely weird stuff. It's fun though. That's the stuff that makes it fun.
That's what people like. It's like I was talking. This is kind of like related but unrelated. I was talking with somebody recently, and they're like, like I'm inside all the time. Like, they're feeling not depressed, but like it's all the weight of the world is setting on their shoulders. And I'm like, I think 90% of your problems can be solved by getting outside. Like
Yeah.
either it's a hike or a bike. Like I'm a firm believer, obviously, that being on a bike will be the best solution to the problem. But even if it's just going somewhere and walking outdoors for an hour or two, like it's just, you'll come back and you'll feel different, like you'll feel better than you did before. And like some of those things will just have floated away. It's a magic process.
Yeah. No, it's definitely something to be said about being outside, getting a little sunlight or whatever, just going out and doing something. So definitely a good time.
Yeah.
And I had another really interesting question, but this is like what I talk about on almost every one of my podcasts. Is I forgot what I was just going to say. So anything, Bueller. Right. So let's see here. What, dude, I'm like completely drawing a blank right now.
What Robert doesn't know is that he could literally just let me talk, and I would probably go for approximately 30 minutes before needing to be interrupted. But I'm not going to do that.
Not going to do that. Don't do that, Robert.
It's under control.
So, any idea of where you would like to travel to ride bikes?
100%. I got a ton of plans this year. I want to hit Moab. I definitely want to hit Moab. In which case, I'm roping Outdoor Gold and Crashing Dad in with me. We're all going to ride. I know people are talking about Sedona. It sounds like that's probably not going to happen, but it's going to. I don't know what the hell the story is with that. I've never ridden out there. Like, I don't know if I could sell the wife on a huge gathering, but I think like a family trip to Moab, I can wrap a lot of riding into the trip and cover a lot of ground there. The plan this year, and I think probably a bunch of people had this plan, was to road trip in 2020. I mean, like not this year, but last year, was to road trip up through Oregon to Washington, up to Whistler.
That was my plan last year too. It didn't happen.
Yeah, that didn't happen. And it's probably, I don't know if that'll happen this year either, honestly. Like, we'll see how it all plays out. But like, I'd love to hit Moab. I want to get down to SoCal and do some riding down there. If at the very least getting to Oregon may be a good solution, because that's great vacation territory. I've been up there a bunch of times. It's beautiful. I could take the kids to Crater Lake and I can get some riding in. It's just, there's a bunch of places that are still close that are pretty amazing. So like that's on the board. I did the big road trip to Colorado. In my opinion, like I have enough people there that I'd love to ride Colorado or at least visit Colorado every year. Cause it's just, I've got a bunch of friends outside of mountain biking and inside of mountain biking now. Mm-hmm. And there's so much to hit. So like, it's just time. I mean, I think I don't mind taking vacation time to do stuff. Honestly, like I'm happy to do it. I would, there's something about it. So, wrapping in those trips, that would be super fun.
Yeah, if you want to do some road trips, dude, friggin' I'm down. I keep telling myself I'm going to go down to SoCal and ride, and I just keep not doing it. Moonlight Leatherfoot's from San Diego, and he's told me about some pretty epic rides down there. Yeah. And every time I talk to somebody from San Diego, I mention the trails that he's talked about, and they're like, "Oh yeah." I'm like, "Why do we not do this? Like, it's really not that. It's not even that far." I'm
sure we could rope MTV Allen, an outsider, to show us around too. It's like, we know plenty of people that could just like guide us in the right direction.
Yeah, or one of the freaking thousands of subscribers that we have could.
Well, not me, you, but I don't have that many. But
you got 1,000, so
thanks.
I was adding your 1,000 into my thousands, so then we're together still 1,000. Is there anybody anywhere that you would like to ride though outside of like just in general? Like for me, like. I really want to ride bikes in Jamaica. Like I really want to. I really like Jamaica a lot, and I found out there's this like Fat Tire festival that they do every year. Probably not going to happen this year, but and so there's some mountain biking to be had down there, and it's like to me, I'm like, dude, I really want to do that. So is there anything like that? Like that's like a real bucket list kind of ride for you?
I had no idea that there was riding in Jamaica. First of all, so that's impressive that you know that. I rode Mexico last year in a random ride, but
I did see that video of yours. That was actually pretty cool. You guys were like riding through some town and stuff like that.
Yeah, it was interesting because it's like we were in the back alleyways of a small town in Mexico, Salatitan, which was where my wife's mom is from. So we went there, and last day we were able to get out there and just I saw that city in a way that not a lot of people get to see it. So that was like a once in a lifetime thing. It was really cool. But in terms of like where to go, I don't, okay, I know what it is. Now that you mention it, I want to go to Scotland and want to go ride with McTrail Rider because every single video he puts out is like a damn postcard, dude. And I told him that it's incredible.
Yeah, it's beautiful. Everything.
It's stunning.
Yeah. And they have what I heard him talk about on his channel. They have what's called the right to roam there. So there's no such thing as private property. You can just go wherever the hell you want. Nobody can be like, get off my land. You know, like, so that's pretty interesting too. So
Brian talked about that in some of his series of videos too. So I think at first I saw a couple of the trails that like they had both ridden. And then I really started like every video McTrail Rider puts out is like a new vista and he'll be going through some mossy like forest. And it's like, this is insane. Like I was like, I don't know how the vacation bureau or whatever you call the bureaus that handle, you know what I'm talking about? Like, how have they not reached out to him? He is single-handedly selling a lot of people on going to Scotland. Like
no, for sure.
There's no question. I told, man, that would be amazing.
He had a rough run of luck here last year. It was before you were in the Slack group, but his account got compromised. Somebody like got his YouTube channel and basically he got locked out of it. And then they like released all of his like Patreon videos. They made them all public. Wow. And then like just were like doing all kinds of crazy stuff with it. He didn't even think at one point that he was going to be able to get his channel back. Wow. Like, could you imagine that? Like getting like, because at the point I think he was like 15,000 subscribers and like having it just like taken away. Like, but somehow or another. And I feel like this is the thing, dude. I really feel like YouTube should have like a much more like expedient process. It took him like at least a month or more to get like access to his account back. I feel like this should be pretty easy. Like, hey, I can do a FaceTime call with you and you can see me in all those videos saying I can't get in my freaking account right now. You know, like they should be able to like do that and be like, oh, okay. Here, change the password. Whoever it is locked out now. Here's your new password, you know? But
I can't even imagine that frustration. Like there's so much blood, sweat, and tears that went into those subs that he had. And it's like, man, thinking it was just going to go away. It's like, God, that's heartbreaking.
Right. What if they went in and just deleted all your videos just because they want to be an asshole, you know? Like some people don't keep all their original footage and stuff like that, you know, or I don't know, just like, man, that would suck. But I guess they were like, what's the point too? Like, I don't know if they're like, I think with them, maybe they were like changing the like title screens or whatever to have, not title screens, like the show mores to have like spam links in it or something. I don't know, you know, but yeah, crazy stuff, dude.
Well, I'm not looking forward to that. I'm sure.
Right.
Yeah.
Good thing
it's being a small channel, I suppose.
Right. Nobody cares.
Yeah, nobody cares about what the hell I'm doing.
Right. They're like, I'll break into this one, or I could just make my own. It'll have the same amount of stuff.
The same effect. Oh, this guy's going to get me an extra 10 views.
That's too funny, man.
Yeah, that would be really something. I like that's again, it's something I could wrap the family into. We could go to Scotland and you know, I could drink a lot of scotch. That's also something that I could do out there.
Oh, there you go. That works. Does the lady ride with you or?
No, she doesn't. Like the kids ride a little bit, but they're not quite there. They're 5 and 7. I got to start getting them shredding though. Like if I'm going to raise the next Max Rides bikes, that's what I got to do.
Yeah, you should just be doing a bike review channel with them, dude, and you'd be really good. You'd probably have at least 2,000 subscribers.
I'd really be pushing the limits.
Yeah. I mean, you would be killing it. So
100%.
Yeah, that's funny. Yeah, so she's just like whatever about mountain bikes. Then you're just kind of on your own.
I think that she doesn't like, and she's she does a lot of things really well, but she doesn't have the need for danger that I have. Like there's something like you probably understand it. Like there's something that we enjoy about going fast down things, and it's life threatening. It's like I've always liked that. Like it's you know, whether it was driving my car fast or whatever it was, like it just like there's something ingrained in us that. And I'm probably a lot of mountain bikers have the same thing where we kind of like that danger. There's something about it. Like, and she doesn't have the need for danger like I do.
Yeah.
So I could probably get her on some XC trails and just cruise, you know, and that would be super fun because you're outdoors and you're just enjoying the scenery. Like that's a different type of riding that I also still enjoy too, you know? So it's possible.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. My lady doesn't like to ride to the same level that I do, but she will ride. So we'll do some stuff together and like, it's really fun for me, like to be able to experience that with her. Cause like, it's like, Oh, man, how many times did I said like 14 times in the last 2 sentences. You know, I'm in my head about it now too, because some guy, like, I was reading, damn it, I did it again. I was reading the reviews for the podcast on Apple, and somebody was like saying that I say it too much. And apparently, you know, that's one of those things where you don't realize that you have a word that you say too much until your friends start bagging on you about it.
They call it a crutch word. When we first got into radio and I did some early radio on-air work, they called it a crutch word. They said, get rid of your crutch words. So like, and, all that stuff.
Yeah.
But then you don't even know that you're doing it. Like that's the problem. You need somebody to be like, you're doing that.
Well, my old crutch word was fuck. And then apparently I'm not allowed to say that all the time. People don't like my channel. So I had to put in all these dumb ones like. And I would just be like, what the fuck is going on here? Fuck.
It's your fault. It's the user's fault. Everybody in chat, it's your responsibility.
Yeah, it's all everybody's fault. I'm blaming everyone. That's the motto for 2021. It's somebody else's fault.
It's somebody else's fault. It's not mine.
Definitely not mine. So, like I was saying with her, it's just really fun to be able to actually show her some of the places, you know, that I talk about, where it's like, look at this view up here. It's beautiful.
Yeah. You know, a lot of the times the rides that I do are scouting missions for hiking too with them. So like we got to Auburn. I remember I rode down to like, you know, where you in Auburn, there's a place where you can launch your boats into the lake, like this small little ramp down by the dam. And I went down there and I found this little hiking trail back there that I didn't even know existed. So the next day I brought them over and we just went hiking there for a couple hours, and it was like the greatest. So it's like, it doesn't translate necessarily to riding a bike together, but like it was a scouting mission for finding a cool trail. And sometimes me going mountain biking in an area is a scouting mission for a family trip later. Like Nevada City, I ride there all the time. We went out there. I was like, let's go fishing. So we go down the lake. We just go fish out there, and like, there's a lot to that area, not just riding, which is cool. Right. That's like, there's more to it for sure. And like, there's one that's a great thing. So even when I take road trips, I'm like, man, I got to take my family here, like, because there's so much to do other than mountain biking.
Yeah. There is a lot of things to do other than mountain biking. However, mountain biking is the only thing that I really want to do.
I know, it's hard to describe, isn't it? It's like, out on a road bike today, I'm like, this could have been funner if I was not just on a pavement.
My lady likes to hike, and every time we're hiking, all I'm thinking about is this would be so much more fun on a bicycle. And then even better yet, like, then of course she wants to go on a hike. So I'm like, well, let's go walk on this trail. I know where that's at. You know, I took her out to the OHV park in Auburn. We were walking across some stuff that I don't like riding bikes on, because the climb just sucks or whatever. Like, you know, Squaw Flat between Forest Hill Divide and like where East Side is.
Oh yeah. Yep.
Yeah. Don't ever ride that trail. It sucks. But walking on it is fun.
Yeah.
You know, so that kind of stuff. But I also do use those hikes to kind of figure some stuff out as well. Like, there was one where I'm like, oh, I wonder where this trail goes. I won't do it on my bike because that could be a bad experience.
Yeah.
But we could go take the dog out and be like, hey, here we go.
This Yeah, I use it's interesting. Yeah, like moments like quiet times like that let you think a little bit. Like, I oftentimes when I'm driving up to a ride, I'm thinking of ideas and things like that. So it's like having those down times, like not just barreling downhill. And like you said, riding solo sometimes, just doing a climb, it's like that's when your mind can wander. So it's like you kind of need those days.
Yeah, definitely do. So here we are, 2 hours just about. And I always have this question I like to ask people at the end of the show. What other YouTube channels do you watch?
What other YouTube? Okay, I love okay, it's on Screen Rant, but he does movie reviews. God, I can't remember the name of it now. Somebody might know, where he goes, it's super easy, barely an inconvenience. And he does these movie reviews where he's the producer and the writer, and they talk to each other. And like part of that, it's so good. I watched Backyard Trail Build also today. Oh God, I'd have to look it up. Let's see if I can find it real quick. It's on Screen Rant.
What's Screen Rant?
They do a bunch of movie stuff, but his is like, everybody is just like, basically like, this channel, we come here for this. Pitch Meeting. It's called Pitch Meeting.
Okay.
If you guys don't watch pitch meetings, they're incredible.
So he's like making fun of the movie that's already been out. So it's
yeah. So either it came out or it just came out, and basically like he'll just kind of just rag on the movie. Yeah.
Oh, I'm in People talking shit. I love people talking shit.
It's so good. It's so good. And he's just like, here's this idea that I got. And the producer's like, you think people will watch that? He's like, yeah. So it's like, that's really good. I watched Backyard Trail Build's video today about where he did hand crank and then he built the ramp all with no power tools. That was like really interesting for some reason.
Every time I see that guy's stuff, I'm like, why am I not watching this more often? And then I forget about it. And then something catches me again. And I'm like, oh, why am I not watching this? I did that same thing with BCPOV for a long time too. I would always like not subscribe or something. I'd just be like, oh, I don't want to see this.
Yeah.
But every time I watched it, I would be very happy that I watched it. You know, I'd be like, I should totally subscribe and watch this more often. But
the problem is who has the time. There's so many people subscribed to it. It's hard to catch up with them. Who was I watching the other day? Man, I don't remember. I like watching Dr. Disrespect videos also. If you guys ever watch Dr. Disrespect, he's like one of the biggest streamers in the business, but he's just got this arrogant, cocky like persona from the 80s. That's just like, it's just now my mustache, I kind of look like him, but like, it's so good. It's just, I like that, like out there that he's kind of pushing boundaries that nobody else. And I also like the Critical Drinker. He's really good.
What's he do?
He's basically like a drunk Scotsman who also talks shit about movies and stuff.
So apparently
there's a theme here.
Talk shit. That's probably why you watched my channel, huh?
Yeah, exactly.
You're like, I was watching it up until the point where you decided to start cleaning it up.
Yeah.
What a waste.
Damn it.
Right on, man. Hey, dude, it was super fun chatting with you. Definitely got to know you a lot better, and hopefully everybody else did as well.
Yeah, thanks for having me on, man. This is a lot of fun. I'm glad we can make it happen.
Yeah, definitely, dude. We'll definitely have to do it again sometime, like next week, because I don't have anybody scheduled.
100%.
Yeah. No,
I'll just dress up as like Crashing Dad or somebody else, and it'll be fine. Nobody will notice.
That's what we should do. We should do another one of these, and we'll both be somebody else the whole time.
Yes. Yes.
Anyways, man. Hey, like I said, totally appreciate having you on. It was a really good time. For all of you guys that hung out the whole time, thanks a lot, man. It really was a good time having all of you here as well. You in the comments, you that are listening on the podcast app. I guess nobody's commuting to work anymore listening to this.
Some people. I still go to work.
Yeah. Okay. So some people are listening to this on the road. Then good for you guys. Pay attention to what you're doing. Stop looking at your phone. And anyways, those of you that want to help out the channel, please do swing by the biker shop, like I was mentioning earlier, shop.biker.com or just biker.com, B1KER. If you're watching it on the video, you can see the cool koozie that Joe has right there. That also can be used for frame protection. You put it on the down tube of your bike when you're shuttling, and boom, the paint is good. And plus, it's like it's a slap koozie. So there's just something that feels good about making that thing slap to around something, whether it's your wrist or the beer can or just you're messing with it over and over again. Either way, swing by biker.com, B1KER.com, and check that out. Or if you really want to help me out, go by Patreon. And you guys heard this at the beginning, but hey, it is what it is. I'm just going to keep doing that. So anyways, appreciate everybody. Thanks a lot.
Can I say one final thing?
Yeah.
Support the hell out of this guy. Go to his Patreon, buy some merch, watch this damn thing, like it, subscribe it, tell your friends. All right. That's how things grow. It's viral. You got to help out. Do your part.
Yeah. What he said. And then also, there's also one other thing too you're supposed to say. It only takes a bike to be a biker. So get out and be one.